carved in stone divine. It's all about your top four, nothing more. Rushmore Show, kicking down the door, ranking the icons, the greats we adore. It's all about your top four, nothing more.
This is the Rushmore Show. We're talking about your top four and nothing more. Andy, it's Thursday, and you know what that means? That means Dusty Flotilla's in the house.
That's what it means.
Chat about a top four. We're going to climb a mountain today. It's Thursday. Best time to climb a mountain is Thursday nights. So, Andy, we have got a great show, but we've got some stuff to talk about, man. Tuesday night was awesome. We actually had a twofer this week. And because we had to make up for last week. And let's welcome in our friend, if he's still hanging around, Edwin Gonzalez. Now, Edwin Gonzalez says, hey, mainly a Cel and HPV3 listener, but I heard great things. Well, listen, hopefully by the end of your day, you are also a Rushmore listener and you hang around because we call you my friend. And you have to give me something. I'm stalling. Andy, I'm stalling. Because we call you the Summit Squad, and this is for you.
Hey, so Stalin, you better call him Joseph. Actually, don't.
Yeah. So, hey, look, we're going to climb a mountain together. Top four today. We do a new top four every week, and today is Nostalgia Month. And we're going to do some things from our childhood. We got some good friends from... You can't see because I'm too close. The Culture Box over your head, hanging out with us today. If you're in the chat, say hello. We appreciate you more than you know. Nightbot's here, and Drew is here, and Kevin was here. Kevin, we love you. Hopefully you're still hanging around. And let's get this thing going. A couple things to chat about. People passing threes, man. People passing threes. So not couple days ago, Jamal Warner drowns. Then Ozzy Osbourne has his last dance and Mama is coming home. And then today, brother, we have lost a wrestling icon. So
R.I.P.
I was about to grab his figure just in case. You're paused. You're frozen. There he is. Oh, that's a red and white NWO. I don't have a yellow and red, but yeah, RIP to all. Man, I will just say this, Andy. We talked about the Hulkster a couple weeks ago, and you know how it is. Rest in peace, because when we talk about you, you know the Grim Reaper comes a knocking. Because I don't know, man, it's just crazy. Betty White. Choco Taco Pro Bowl. Do we add Hulk Hogan? I mean, it was a while ago, but it was close enough.
The lesson to learn here is you don't want to be talked about on our show.
No, you don't want to talk about a Rushmore Show. But hey, we're going to talk about some other things today. Hey, PCG in the house. PCG is Poetically Christian Gamer, not Politically Christian Gamer or Politically Correct Gamer, but Poetically Christian Gamer. And he says Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18, greatest WrestleMania match. Well, that's worth talking at a Rushmore Show. And Poetically Christian Gamer, I would challenge that is not on my mountain of WrestleMania best hits. But it was a good match. Got 8 of y'all in here. Say hello. B2 is in the house. I missed you sliding in there. Andy, have you ever considered being a Price is Right model? Nice pointing. I love it. Vanna, what's next? Give us a Q. Give us an R. Give us a U, an SUHUMR.
That show bothers me. I mean, I feel like they poll people and see how dumb they are on that.
Yeah. Well, look, let's get to this show. So last week was great. Everybody, guys, it's a twofer. So go check out last Tuesday's show. We had some great friends, Owazram and P and X. That's Pammy and Javi. And they did Nostalgia Triggers. And it was a fun show. What I loved about Nostalgia Triggers, it's personal. Can I tell you what's not personal? Tonight's show. Tonight Show, because I am not necessarily personally connected with a lot of this tonight, but we do have some friends that are. And if you guys know anything about the Rushmore Show, we always invite mini creators and other friends, and we say, hey, you get to pick the topic. And sometimes the topics are hard, Andy. I have never even heard of this thing until he brought it up, and I had to go look it up. And now that I know what it is, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know they had a title for that. But sure, I'll pick some of those guys. Yeah, I bet if you don't know what it is, our good friend we're about to enter, our new good friend, our new Culture Box friend is about to learn you. He's about to teach you. What's up, Bud Files in the house? Edwin Gonzalez, my PFP is my current, wait, hold on. My PFP is my current favorite comic henshin hero wearing a artifact. It's like if Flash Thompson became Ghost Rider and has to figure out how not to be, well, we're not going to say that word, and how to break the cycle. So that's really cool. So here we go. You ready, Andy?
Ready.
I am ready as I could be because I'm going to get my friends out here. I got to introduce our new friends. So here we go. That was weird. I hit it before I even got to say it, and it went off. But so we're going to do your top 4 Henshin heroes. Hey, Edwin, by the way, we're not a Christian podcast, but we're not a Christian podcast, and we're going to have a lot of friends in here that might be underage, even though it's 9 o'clock over here on the East Coast. So let's try and keep the language to a minimum. So, but you're always welcome here. So that's just how it is. But let's get this party started, Andy. So we invited on, hey, we got some new friends. Jake Hambrick is in the house. Jake, welcome. And LycanArtist. We'll introduce LycanArtist here in a second. 14 people in the chat. Say hello. I'm going to hand some wrenches out here in a second. I'm going to throw wrenches. Don't dodge them like the dodgeball, and catch them and be a part of the mod team. But let me introduce our friends first. Andy, a couple years ago, I'm at this church in Louisiana, right? And I run into our good friend, now good friend, not a friend then, Dallas Mora. And when we ran into Dallas Mora, Andy, he is a creator doing Christian things, devotional things. And we're like, man, I know you. I've seen you. And he's like, oh, you're the first person to ever call me out in the wild. Well, after that, we formed a little bit of a friendship, kind of a like, not like best friends, like whatever, like we're sleeping at each other's house and everything. But we became friends. And I followed them and I asked them, I said, hey, can we join your team? And we got invited to join their team, Culture Box, which we talk about every week. I'm pointing the wrong way. Culture Box every week. And we talk about them. And this week, we not only have some friends from Culture Box joining us, but we have the very newest member of the Culture Box joining us. And he's got plenty of shows. I'll let him tell you all about them. Welcome to the show. Andy, you ready?
I'm ready.
First guest, Nathan Marchand from Monster Island Vault, Henshin Power V3, the world of Nathan Marchand, and every else thing that he's got going on, writing books, doing websites, doing all that stuff. Welcome to the show, our new Culture Box friend, Nathan. What's up, bro?
Hello, Rushmore viewers.
Yeah, there you go. So everybody say hello to Nathan. If you haven't already followed him, his channels are all in the description, and we're going to share them here in a second. Nathan, you're welcome to put it in the chat where to find you. Let's get the other friends out here really quick. Edwin, no problem, man. All cool, man. We I just share it so we know, and then we can move along. So, and here's the deal. We're going to invite our other friends. Now, these guys have been on 3-4 times already, and they have a great channel. We shout them out probably once every 4 or 5 shows. Welcome to the show, our friends, Jacob and Drew, the Cel Cast. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Wheel of Fortune, I guess, because we're Vanna White today. So, hey.
Hello! Wait, he already did that. I'm pointing the wrong way.
Hello, people. What's up, people?
9 people in the chat. Say hello. Hi, Nathan.
Hello.
Dusty. So let me hand out some mod bombs while you guys are talking. I'm gonna throw some wrenches at you. I'm gonna give you wrenches because here's a couple things. Sometimes we have friends show up that they're not always nice. You guys are welcome to bring them on out of here, just like the bad news. And then also, I would like to give you guys the mod so that you can share your channel in the chat at all times. You can spam it. You can do whatever. Just be cool about it, or we'll take the wrench back and I'll put it back in the toolbox. So first off, Nathan, you're here. You're the new guy in town as far as Culture Box goes. You're the first person this first time you've been on our channel, but you've been around these guys for a long time. I've been seeing your channels, been seeing what's going on. Can you tell everybody that doesn't know what you've got going on, tell them about your channel and tell them why on earth would you pick this topic tonight? You're up.
Well, first of all, sir, you got the name of one of my flagship podcasts a little bit wrong. It is the Monster Island Film Vault, sir.
I missed the word. Sure.
Yeah, you missed. I get it. It's a long name.
It happens.
And by the way, Jake Hambrick in the chat is also technically a member of Culture Box because he is one of my co-hosts on Henshin Power V3.
Well, welcome, Jake, to the family.
Yeah, which is one of the which is the reason why I'm here. This is the show I'm repping tonight.
Yeah.
For tonight's stream. Otherwise, you would be getting kayfabe Nate, MIFV Nate, if I was here representing the Film Vault. Ask Jacob and Drew; they know all about it. Shenanigans.
No, that's why D-Let's not here tonight.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't have Jimmy from NASA with me tonight. But anyway, so yes, I'm here representing Henshin Power V3, where three friends have 3 minutes to talk about tokusatsu. If you don't know what tokusatsu is, well, let me tell you. The long and short of it is that is a Japanese word for visual media. So we're talking TV and movies that are special effects driven. So unlike some people who just limit it to like superhero shows or something like that, I do not do that. Anything that it has a bunch of special effects in it, I don't care if it's a film or a TV show, could be many different genres, not just superhero stuff. We're talking disaster movies, kaiju movies. It could even be action movies, depending on the level of special effects that they have in there. So when we say we talk about tokusatsu, we are focusing on Henshin Heroes, and I will explain Henshin once the time comes, unless you want me to explain it now.
Yeah, explain it now.
Okay, so Henshin is the Japanese word for transform or transformation. So a Henshin hero is a superhero who has to go through a transformation to gain most, if not all, of his power set. So it's not simply a costume change. Okay, we're not talking about Superman hiding in the phone booth and then coming out with his costume. No, because he technically has access to his powers. Then he's just putting on the costume. No, they have to get most, if not all, of their powers by going through a transformation sequence. Or not sequence, but just transforming. So that's where it comes from. And I'm one of those weirdos, and if you listen to HPV3, you'll get this. We don't just limit it to Japanese stuff, because by that definition, you can apply it to a variety of characters, as I'm sure we will be getting into tonight. But that's the show I'm representing tonight. My other show, it's my flagship show, the Monster Island Film Vault, a podcast seeking entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu. That is a film appreciation show. It's primarily, sometimes we talk TV, but it's primarily about film. It is both academic and entertaining. So I'm not some dry professor. I'm very well educated. I hold 2 degrees, one in writing, one in English. So that's the sort of thing I bring to that. So it's scholarly, but I always make sure to make it fun. And also, as again, Jacob and Drew can attest, there is
too much research.
Yeah, well, there's that. I do. There is too much research. I always over prepare, but there's also a, shall we say, as far as I know, I am not related to Brad Marchand, but I have gotten that on occasion. I don't know. It would be fun if I was, but yes, go Power Rangers. I did a Power Rangers show too, called The Power Trip, a journey through the Power Rangers franchise. I highly recommend that one. Some of my best podcasting, but Drew was on it.
That was a long night.
It was a long night, but anyway, there's story stuff that goes on the Film Vault.
Yeah, as a newbie to the channel, I'll just share this with you. And this is with everybody that might be new here. We talk about the Rushmore as your 4 favorite. And a lot of times when we say your 4 favorite, it really depends on your criteria. And criteria could be scholarly, or it could be just, I'm 6 years old and that's what I wanted to pick. So your criteria is your criteria, and you keep it well to yourself. So for instance, if you were to like football, right? I use this one quite often because almost everybody, no matter if you are a football fan or not, you at least know this guy. Hopefully you don't like him, but he is widely considered the GOAT. Tom Brady.
I was going to say, don't you dare say Peyton Manning. We will have words, sir. I'm from Indiana.
Well, hopefully it's good words because we love Peyton Manning here. So
I was going to say, no, I say that because I'm from Indiana. We love Peyton Manning.
Well, we're from New Orleans,
and we don't like Tom Brady too. On principle.
Yeah. So here's the deal: Tom Brady, widely considered the GOAT. If you live in New York, you're probably not putting him on your mountain. Because
if you live in Indiana, you should not put him on your mountain.
One of those guys beat you twice in the Super Bowl, and the other guy, you beat him every single time. So for you, if you live there, you probably not put him. What we say is your criteria has a lot to do with your age, how you were raised, your parents, where you were raised, what you watched as a kid, what you watch now, what you read now, whatever it is, what you studied, where you went off to abroad, whatever that little circle is that you're in is your criteria. So when your turn comes up, it sounds like you've got a pretty good criteria, and you're the most knowledgeable probably. Well, I'm sure the guys below us, but I can tell you're more knowledgeable than me and Andy. And we have done our due diligence to pick a very fun list for you guys. So Drew and Jacob, either one of you. I know Jacob, you haven't been on in a while, so you could be Jacob because Drew was on here last by himself.
Yes.
And why we didn't have you on that show, I don't know, but tell us all about the Cel Cast.
All right, so
yes, wait, pause. This is the most important comment of the day. Yes, he was.
The real GOAT. The real
yes,
GOAT.
He was.
Anyway.
I would also like to point out that Tom Brady lost the one game that mattered after an undefeated season against an undercard, against an underdog team, quarterbacked by Peyton's brother in our stadium in Indianapolis.
Drew Brees as well.
I'm just saying, Tom Brady was not going to win a Super Bowl in our house.
Yeah,
you're in good company.
That was one of the best Super Bowls we've ever seen.
We don't like Tom Brady here, but if you do, congratulations to everybody in the chat. You're welcome here, but that's your criteria. So, boys, tell us about Cel Cast.
You go first.
All right, so the Cel Cast, we've been doing this for 6.5 years. It is where we review animated movies and animated series. And we just have fun. We're a bunch of geeks that just absolutely love animation. And we have devoted, again, like the last 7 years doing this. And we've had a lot of fun. We've grown a community. We have gained tremendous friends through this, including Culture Box and everybody like that. Mm-hmm. And we're incredibly honored to be here for the show. And I don't know, like good night. We have reviewed such a gamut of different shows, the different different animated movies, where we go from live action hybrids to traditional animation to
3D, 2D, anime, Western. If it's been animated in some form, we've done it.
Yes,
we even reviewed puppetry.
Yes, recently we did puppetry a couple months ago.
Which is some of your best work.
We try.
We try.
I know why you say that.
Puppetry at the Rushmore Show.
Yeah, we can't forget about musical animated movies about Titanic.
Oh
and
God!
Giant monkeys.
Please no, no, thank you.
B2 wants to jump in and say, with friends like these, who needs animes?
I don't know how to interpret that.
You don't need enemies. That
reminds me a little too much of a comment that somebody wrote on the car for a couple of my friends when they got married, because you're supposed to put like mildly inappropriate jokes on the car before they leave because it's the honeymoon. And somebody Somebody wrote on there, marriage is like an anime. Someone always gets stabbed.
Jeez.
Wow.
Wow.
And
I can
moving
feel
along
the thing of that
there.
right now that mirrored your ear. So I can definitely feel that one. Yeah.
Hey, Drew even ran out of here on that one. He's like, peace out.
I'm
gone.
I just finally fixed my camera where I could switch between us.
Let's get this thing started. So, Nathan, you're up. You explained Henshin Heroes a little bit. Let's talk about your criteria specifically. What were you thinking when you put your chat together? And then just jump right on. We call number 4 Rosie. We ranked the presidents in pretty just whatever order about what we thought were important. And we put Rosie number 4, and we gave him a fun name. So tell us your criteria. Give us your 4th pick.
All right. And I brought visual aids for this. I asked if I could do this.
Yeah, definitely.
So there will be some screen sharing here. So I'm going to get that set up a little bit. But since this is nostalgia, I am going to do a little, some of these are going to be based on nostalgia for me in some form or another. However, I have a slightly different, or I guess I should say an expanded definition of nostalgia. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think of this. There's a nostalgia that we all know. It's something that you experienced in your childhood or formative years. You know, it could be when you were a teenager or whatever. All right. So that's why you love it. It's something that was, you know, that you saw at a, like I said, a very, impressionable age. There's also a form of nostalgia that is you being nostalgic for a time period that you did not experience, but you wish you had. So I will be including some entries along those lines.
You had more time.
Yes. Yeah. So there's some entries that might kind of fall under that category as well. But my Rosie for tonight is from technically an American adaptation of a Japanese show, but not the one you're thinking. This was DiC, yes, that studio, trying to get their own Power Rangers, because as we all know, Power Rangers was adapted initially by Saban Entertainment using Super Sentai from Japan. They just filmed new scenes with American actors and then edited that around the Japanese superheroes footage. All right. So this was DiC trying to do the same thing. And even though I try to watch this version of the show now and I find it cringier than anything Power Rangers ever did, I can't deny that I love this character. I was obsessed with this character and his cohorts. I bought the toys. I was all in with this character. If you saw my pillowcase, I still have a pillowcase themed around the American version of this character. And this is probably why I love Ultraman to this day, even though he's technically not an Ultraman, but he's made by the same studio. Ladies and gentlemen, let's summarize, guys. It is Servo from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, aka, if you watch the Japanese version, Gridman. Why isn't that showing up?
He's probably showing on your side. Is he showing on your side?
It's not showing on my side. There we go.
There
Okay.
it is.
There.
Nice.
There we go.
Dun, dun,
As the goofy guy.
Yeah, so there you go. Now the Japanese version, his Japanese counterpart, I should say, is Gridman. And and then Gridman, the transformation command would be the Access Flash. And so Gridman is Gridman and Servo, I should say. Both of these shows are like what happens if Ultraman and Tron have a baby. Because the premise is that you have a computer entity in Gridman, or in Cyber Squad, it is a program who merges with a human in cyberspace. You got to remember, this is in the early to mid 90s. The internet is a very, very new thing. Computers are becoming more prevalent in culture and all of that. And then, so after he merges with a human, he goes off into a computer system and fights in the American version, a mega virus monster, and which looks like a kaiju. and the backgrounds in the cityscapes are supposed to represent computer systems. So he goes in there and he fights them, defeats the monsters, and then fixes the computers so that whatever they were screwing up gets fixed and everything can go back to normal. In the American version, it was an American. I'm trying to remember the name. There's the actor who was in it was someone who
Matthew Lawrence.
Matthew Lawrence. Yeah, he was kind of popular.
Boy Meets World. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to remember the name. It's been a hot minute. Like I said, I tried watching the show again, and the nostalgia could not save it. But the tokusatsu was great.
Andy, I believe you're a fan of this, aren't you?
I am a big fan of superhuman.
Oh, then you know the pain of trying to watch it again. Now, I will say this: even though Sam Collins is okay, he has a first memorable American Henshin Heroes from my childhood. Okay. Yeah, Edwin has some very interesting definitions of of Henshin Heroes. He's in my Discord and such, and we talk about it a lot. But anyway, so yeah, there was a girl that was with him. There was the dumb jock. The one that kind of kills the show is there's this really dorky guy. I think his name is Amp. Like these are all kids who are in a high school rock band. All right, and so that's why they're all friends. And he kind of wrecks the show. But I will say this. The one thing the American version has over Gridman, even though Gridman is almost exactly the same, but the storytelling is way better in Gridman. There's one thing that the Japanese show does not have, and that is Tim Curry as the bad guy, Hiloka.
Yes.
That's like, okay, that's
so
the one.
That's
That's
All right,
the
you
one
sold me,
point.
Tim Curry. I'm in.
Yeah, well, like I said, the show's terrible, but yeah, but Tim Curry kind of saves it.
So our bud PCG says, play King of the Monsters on the channel today. Always love Godzilla movies. Kirk and Andy, sorry I have to leave. Early appointment for wife's cancer treatment tomorrow. God bless everyone. Hey, PCG, I would like to pray for you before you head out. Let me know if I can and shoot that message to me. And then if not, then we'll pray for you at the end if you have already left. One of these characters I mentioned is voiced by one of the moms from Euphoria. Wish I could unlearn that. For anyone interested, Augusta Video Gaming Exposition, March 21 to 2026. Hopefully we're a part of that piece, David Bryant. And he says prayers for you, certainly. Yeah, man, I'm going to throw this out there. Andy's mentioned this before on the show, and the last time you mentioned it was the first time I'd heard of it or like been introduced to it because I've seen it like on commercials, but it is not something I watched. There's not, and so I'm being learned right now. You're teaching me. Hey, so yes, please. So I love that. So for everybody in the chat, our guy PCG is not only is he poetically Christian, but he is also legally blind, and he plays video games as a legally blind Christian to let you know that they are safe to play and how easy they are to play for people with blindness of some sort. And also his beloved wife is fighting her life against cancer over the last several months, and we pray for him quite a bit. So his name's Derek, and Derek, we love that you're here, and we will pray for your wife. Lord, I just thank you right now in the midst of talking about samurais and Henshin heroes and all the other things we're going to talk about today, that it's really more about you and the community, because the community is way more important than anything we'll speak about tonight, because people are real and they need to know you. And Lord, I just ask you right now to heal her in Jesus' name, to take away all of the oppression that is killing her body on a daily basis. But make sure of always, like I know Derek and his family does, that you are completely at the center of it. So no matter what, it isn't about what we do here, it's about what we do later. Lord, thank you for dying on the cross for us. Thank you for rising. It's even more important. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, man, so thank you, PCG. We love you. See you next time. Artie Steph, is that one of your friends?
That's
one of our friends.
Hey,
There.
Artsy.
Hey, Artsy.
Artsy Steph. Sorry, Artsy Steph. And then Henshin Power V3, that's you, right? I'm assuming. So, Barry, where are the banana peppers, Andy?
I can't deal with that spice, Barry.
Yeah. So you guys missed it. He's going to Argentina and a part of Argentina. Yeah, Artsy Steph, I'm going to throw you a wrench. if you're in mine. By the way, if you are in Nathan's chat, by all means, stay there. I can't throw you a wrench on his side, but if you want a wrench on our side, come on over. I'll throw you a wrench. You can go on back, whatever. Come and check us out later, whatever. No need to leave his. Stay there, hook him up with all the amazing love. Matter of fact, all of our guys, you can go over there if you'd like and go and support him. Artsy, but I'll throw you if you're on our side, I will throw you a wrench. Andy is going to Argentina. He's raising money for Argentina. And one of the things he had to do was eat peppers. And level 1 was a banana pepper. The very end was a ghost pepper. He says he'll never eat a ghost pepper again. And ghost peppers aren't even the worst anymore, but he said that is the worst for me.
I don't want to know what's worse.
That's heartburn.
I don't want to know.
Carolina Reaper?
I never experienced that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the next level up.
Carolina, well, that's one level up, and then I think there's one more after that.
The ghost pepper was hot enough.
I'm afraid what that means the other end.
What is it? Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember what the other one, because it's Ghost Pepper, Carolina Reaper, and then there's one above that. I forget what it is.
Something atomic. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't believe these botanists. I can't believe the.
Bomb?
I don't know. I can't believe these botanists keep trying to figure out more and more ways to breed peppers that are hotter and hotter for human consumption.
No reason for any of that.
Yeah,
You know what they should call the next one? I can't believe it's not ghost peppers.
Hey, Artsy, I sent you a wrench so you can share your channel if you'd like. Thanks for being here. We're going to go through the mountain today. We only just did the first one. We're 30 minutes in, so this is going to be a while. Number 2. Well, anyways.
You got to let everybody else do their roses.
Do you guys love his? Do you love his? Tell us about what you love about his, Drew and Jacob.
Hey, hang on. And I had to click around. I didn't watch Superhuman Cyber Squad, and I keep wanting to say for some reason another show, but we'll save that. Though I did watch some of the Gridman SSSS anime like a couple years ago. I never finished it.
That's basically a spiritual remake of it.
Right, but I don't really have much to add on that because, like I said, I never watched the show. But yay.
Jacob, how about you?
I do recall watching like one episode and it was weird. I was like, okay, I recognize this actor. Okay, the suits are cool. It's got a cool dynamic. I don't think I watched much of it, but I appreciate what the show was because you're in that era of, okay, we're just going to take footage from Japan and bring it over here and put human because they're all human. They're putting American actors intersliced into the footage. But it's like, yeah, I remember some of that, and it was like, okay, that's kind of nostalgia for me. It wasn't something I watched per se, but it was like, okay, I do remember it.
And Andy, let me tell you what I didn't have on my bingo card today. Asking Nathan to tell us about a henshin, and then you being the only one on the panel that watched it. That is just wild. Let me tell you,
Andy. Let me tell you though. You have to watch Gridman the Hyper Agent, which is on Blu-ray. The subtitles are awful, but it's on Blu-ray. It's better than Cyber Squad. I swear.
Hey, PCG says, nice to meet you, Nate and Cel Cast. Hey guys, by the way, Cel Cast, if I was to nominate someone to be in the Culture Box, it's PCG. And that's why I keep asking what are the requirements, because he's amazing and he needs to be a part of us if we can ever get him there.
As always, bring it up in the the chat.
He is somebody that fits this very well. And so, anyways, so none of us really have anything. So, Andy, what do you think about it?
Love it. I mean, I just shared. This is a great pick. I didn't think this one was going to be talked about today. So this is
you're welcome. Like I said,
we talked about. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I was obsessed with this show for a while. It never reached the heights of Power Rangers, obviously, but
Kev is in the house. Kev, we love you. Kev was my 8th grade best friend. We reunited, and it feels so good. And it's just like that. So welcome, Kev. We're talking deep dives today, dude. Come on in, and the water is fine. So, all right, Drew, you're next.
All right. So my criteria was simple. Much like we said, all henshin is the Japanese version of transforming. What?
I was joking.
Oh,
I said, "Fat boy, you're in the house." I didn't want you to be like, "Man, you're being rude to me."
No, anyway.
I'm joking.
I am aware how big I am.
It's this guy.
It just so happened I said that.
No worries, no worries. Like we said, all henshin is the Japanese word for transforming. So quit that. My criteria was, please stop. My criteria was very, very simple. A, they need to be one of the good guys. B, the transformation has to give them their powers or enhance their abilities. It can't be a costume change. And lastly, they have to be able to change back to a human at the end, or I say human, their base form after that. So those are my three
Demorph.
criteria. Do what?
Demorph.
Yes, they have to demorph. We get right down to it.
All right, so
And I
what
have
was
to be-
the first
I have to be
step?
specific
The first
about
step
like
is that there's a base guy. Second, you get a power. Third, go back to the base guy. Is that it? Is that what you're
Pretty
saying?
much. Pretty
cool.
much. That's my criteria.
Then all
And
mine fit.
I'm starting off with what might have been the first, not just first transforming hero I ever ran into, but maybe one of the first superheroes I ever watched.
Huh.
In fact, to a degree, I was surprised this made my list because it's been a long time since I've watched any of it, but it was one of the first things that came to mind when I was thinking through this list. It's an older cartoon that y'all may be aware
Hold
of.
that thought, Steph.
And yeah, you threw me. Give me a second. Basically,
Your childhood
it's Underdog.
superhero.
It's Underdog.
Nice.
Underdog?
Underdog
Nice.
is a henshin hero as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
He is
Okay.
Yes.
Shushan
What?
Boy. He physically transforms into Underdog to save Polly Purebred from the
Yep.
evil machinations of Simon Bar Sinister. I think he fits this. He's one of the earliest heroes I can think of, and he does technically fit my criteria. So yeah, I'm going with Underdog.
Nice.
I love this pick, and it is such a Drew pick. It's so
It is very
on
much a
brand.
Drew pick.
Yeah,
but
I
maybe
love it.
maybe I didn't watch enough Underdog, but I'm like, I don't remember him transforming. I remember it being more like Superman. With
Well,
a dog,
it is a
but not
Superman
Crypto.
pastiche, but I've watched a couple episodes kind of because I wanted to make sure I was remembering correctly. He doesn't show off any of his powers when he's Shoeshine Boy. Not really. Maybe the super hearing
He
once,
has the
but for the most
dramatic
part.
like da da da, and it
Yeah.
like changes, right?
And
So like,
when he transforms,
Well-
he does kind of cause a giant explosion. His powers do come from some pills he takes.
True.
Don't go that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So
so he takes
technically,
steroids. Awesome.
I'm going with he's a henshin hero.
You know what?
fair.
I'm willing to go
I'm
along.
with it.
I'm willing to go along with that because as I said most, if not all. There are some exceptions to. I should say there are some examples of henshin heroes who do have some civilian powers, but they
Yes.
don't have all of their powers until they transform.
All
But
right.
for the most part, he never shows any of his super abilities, except for, like I said, maybe the super hearing when he hears Polly Purebred screams from wherever she
So-
is. But yeah, other than that,
So Artsy Steph, in all of my research this week, this is one of the big video game characters that showed up all the time. It may show up on the list, so if you hold up and check out, we might mention that later.
That's why I
love
said
this
hold that
pick.
thought.
My dad would applaud you right now because my dad loved some Underdog. And then I love like the old style Underdog, like the cartoon from back in the day. That's like
That's the one I got
Pink
too.
Panther and Mighty
Yeah.
Mouse and all that jazz. The new movie was to be desired. I wish it was better. I didn't like it.
the less
But
said about
because I
that
wanted it
movie,
more-
the better.
Honestly, I wanted it more
Well,
like the cartoon.
I was
and-
just say, who needs the Underdog movie when we have Crypto now?
yeah,
That is true.
Fair,
absolutely.
fair.
It's very fair. But I love this pick because this is vilifying my list. I love it. I love it.
Wow. Anyway.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah, be like I honestly be like that. That is,
Andy, I know you're feeling good now.
You have justified everything that the fact
Andy, if there
that
is
I
not a
don't know
if
anything.
there isn't a Crushmore for Servo, I'm going to be disappointed. All right.
we'll have to wait and see. But here's the thing: these first two picks have immediately taken a weight off my shoulder.
Okay.
Okay,
I
there
am
we go.
so glad
There
I
we
can be of
go.
assistance.
I love
So,
this.
here.
I'm fully in.
Andy
I'm
was like,
watching
so
all
let me
the
just
way.
throw this out there. Andy was like, man, I am super busy, and this Henshin thing, I don't even know where I'm going. I might not be able to make the show. And I was like, well, we can move it back. And he's like, I guess.
I will tell you this.
And now
That
it's like,
was
yes, I'm in.
that was like 2 months ago.
What
And
I'm
he's like, dude,
realizing,
you got to put your list together. I'm going to put my list together. You put your list
Yeah,
together.
well,
What
the beauty of Henshin Heroes is that you're not married to any particular way to get your powers. It could be
Yeah.
taking pills. It could be I have a wristwatch that I tap and I can transform. It could be I have the beta capsule and I hide it in my pocket. It could be I just will the transformation.
I will on one of my picks. I'm going to challenge even all of that. So,
Ooh.
yeah, it's going to be fun to chat about. So, actually, he's on my honorable mentions on purpose.
I think I might be a Henshin guy, like only Henshin. Now that I like these two picks, I'm like, maybe everything I like is Henshin.
There's always that
well,
chance.
we'll find out. But first, we gotta
Wow.
hear Jacob's.
I want to hear
Jacob.
Jacob's pick.
All right. So are we talking about like just bouncing off his or going into mine?
We're going.
If you want to shit on his, if you haven't, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then it's your turn. And it's your turn.
Yeah, so just bouncing off his, be like, this is not mine, but it'd be like just bouncing off his. I think Underdog is like, it's again kind of an underrated character. Be like he, was that, that golden era of cartoons. And again, I remember watching a little bit of that as a kid, and wow, incredible animation, definitely for a time period.
Mhm.
And just everything about it's so incredibly well done. And I am like, I'm blown away. It's okay. So it blew the gates open for this. It's like, okay, so what is the limit of possibilities you can do for Henshin Hero?
Yep,
and
absolutely.
kind of going into my
criteria and do it.
yeah. So my criteria for this, again, there's a lot of nostalgia for the cartoons I grew up with, the movies I grew up watching, and a lot of it because there's some in my honorable mentions that are not really defined by that very strict definition of a henchman, because one of them is more based in reality. And this is a real life character who really lived, and it's just like, wow, that kind of fits the criteria, but there's no real wristwatch or anything like that, but it's a like switch. And so I was like, okay, so there'll be an honorable mention later, but so it's more
Hey,
like
You might want to pick him soon because it might be the same guy I'm thinking of.
maybe so here it'd be like it's just be like the ability to transform, if it's physically, if it's just like a curse or something like that, or it's like, you morph or whatever, be like you transform, you're able to transform back. And maybe even the transformation has to be like it takes something dramatic in order to transform back. So my number 4, my Rosie, would be, let me get my notes back up.
Drum roll, please.
Yes, exactly. So my is about a panda, a red panda.
Oh,
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
My from
love this
Red
list.
Panda, from Turning Red from Disney Pixar.
yes.
Oh my god!
Really?
What a pick!
What?
So be like,
this has become
so
my favorite
sitting in the
episode.
realm of what we do is for animated movies and television. I was like, it's like, what is that criteria fit? And I was like, wait, mine from this movie, it's perfectly fit. Be like, her transformation comes out of her anger, and it's a family curse. And be like, you can't break the curse, but you can learn to control the curse. I was like, wow, that's a really good one. I was like, you know what? Be like, I'll put that on my list. And like trying to sort this, and I was like, where do I put this? And it's like, so you got to represent what you do for your podcast, and be like, for me at least. And I was like, you know what? I'd be like, just give that movie a little bit of love. It'd be like, it came out at an odd time, and like, it's still a very good film, like box office wise. And I think I think we reviewed it. Did we do a reaction to that? I don't remember.
We did a full review of it.
Yeah, we did a full review of it. And go listen to that, shameful plug here. But I thought that was like, you have a character, a very young girl who is going through, adolescence, going through puberty, and she is like getting angry all the time, and like she gets to a point of her anger and she turns into a red panda. And for more recently, a red panda, I absolutely love red pandas. They're absolutely amazing creatures. and they're so freaking cute. And then this girl turns into a red panda. I was like, okay, this is funny. I'd be like, how they approach it, how they be like, you have to try to hide this transformation. And he learns that all of her aunts and mother and grandmother all turn into pandas. And at one point, one turns into a kaiju.
I was about to say
exactly.
Yeah,
because I was thinking like Nate's gonna love this one.
Is in the purview of my other show.
Exactly.
Because I think Drew has threatened to pick that for Patreon.
It is on like a list of stuff.
Yes.
The next time a patron pick pops up, here's a list of things to go to.
Oh, May. I just brought this up today because the new art lady's name is Mei Lee, and we were saying, isn't that the name of the? Anyways, this movie got hammered, right? Online and whatever, and I went in with very low expectations, and I enjoyed it. My daughter enjoyed it when it came out. I mean, she's 16 now, so she was like 13? It was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, 3-4 years ago.
She was probably like 12 or 13 when it came out. She enjoyed it. And I'm just gonna go like, so you're saying your top 4 favorites, right?
Yeah, top 4 favorites.
Is one that I was like, okay, I didn't even think about
it's
that.
a little odd. It's a little unorthodox when it comes to
odd,
it.
but I love it because that's what makes your channels so great and why we are so different.
100% thought I would know nothing tonight. And I'm 3 for 3.
This is why I brought show and tell. I'm just
You're
saying.
3 for 3. It's cringy as heck because it's exactly like ourselves at that age. And it's uncomfortable. So it's super good.
I love the early 2000s setting of this, how it's, the boy band scene and like that whole deal.
Oh, that's so great.
It's like that was not that I wasn't a girl in Canada that turned into a band, but again, I can relate enough to that era. Like that was my age basically in the early 2000s. So this is a great pick. I love this. My kids like this movie. They still want to watch it. It's not my favorite Pixar movie. I did think it was definitely unique. But this is a good pick for sure.
Thank you.
I love it.
This just goes to show that Henshin is broader.
Yes, agreed.
So broad.
All right, so I guess it's my turn to the novice of the group. Now I feel on anyways. Actually, I really love my list, and I'm excited to talk about it because it is nostalgia month, and I'm always going to tie it into nostalgia because nostalgia is one of my few favorite words. It's one of my favorite things to think about and do. We talk about it all the last 2 months, but I'm coming in hot here for me. I'm going back to the 80s, guys. I'm going my childhood. For most of these picks, I don't know if are they all in the 80s? I mean, I guess the other 2 could be in the 80s, but I'm talking about when I was a kid. So I was born in 78, 46. So prime Kirk, action figures, toys, cartoons, comic books, 1985, 86, 87, 88.
I think I just wrote it down.
And I am in there, and I'm coming out hot. I'm going with Prince Adam, man. I'm going with He-Man.
Nice.
I
wrote it down.
And I'm going. Listen, we were just talking about pop culture cats. He has the best pop culture cat that hangs out with him. And he also could be a Henshin hero. Because he changes along with him with Cringer, but I'm going with Prince Adam, He-Man, man. And listen, I had almost every action figure at the time. What I loved about this was it was a small comic book toy that became a cartoon, which usually the cartoons make to sell the toys. This one they made the cartoon after the toys so they can help sell the toys, and the toys were amazing. I remember getting my first He-Man. Probably 1986 or 7. And by the way, Andy, that's 4 in a row for you. 4 for 4. That all 4. Yeah, and it's gonna be a good night. So if you know anything about He-Man, he holds the sword up. I got a power. Boom! Lightning comes down. He turns into this muscular whatever. Shoots it over to his cat.
Yeah,
he
qualifies.
The world. They go fight war and all his friends. And then he goes back to being Prince Adam, which is so funny because unlike many alter egos. I think He-Man and Superman have the two worst. I mean, like, how do you not know? How do you not know? I mean, like, he's huge.
Sir,
still.
that is a hornet's nest you do not want to kick.
And so I love
Superman's got hypno glasses apparently.
But I remember as a kid thinking that, and that is just a big deal to me. And so when you guys came and you were talking about Transform, this honestly was the first. I was like, oh, like He-Man, right? And you're like, oh yeah. And I was like, sweet, He-Man's on my list. Let's figure out the rest. And it started at the George, and he kind of trickled down as I built my criteria. But yeah, I'm going He-Man number 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not grow up watching Masters of the Universe. I had some familiarity with it, but funny thing, I would definitely say yes, he qualifies. He very much qualifies. Here's the funny thing: I didn't grow up with He-Man all that much, but I've been told I can do a really good Skeletor.
Okay, so bring it on.
We have to hear it.
I'll get you, He-Man, and your little cat too, until we meet again.
Yeah, there you go.
Fool!
You
want
royal
to be
brood.
good. I want to be evil.
I don't want to
What's
be
up,
good.
everyone? Don't
I
take away
want
from the
to
show.
be
Just wanted to say
evil.
hello to everyone. He-Man, yes, sir. Of course, you know I'm going with that old 80s nostalgia. And doesn't he sing a techno? Yes, he does. 4 Non-Blondes. That's hilarious. What's this big long thing? Okay, luckily my age and references make it hard for people to argue. So Generator Rex is a Henshin hero. Nano, I don't know what that word is.
Nanites.
Oh, nanites. There you go. In the body of a team, lets him build giant machines on and hit. Man, Edwin, you need to be on the show with him for sure. You guys like 4 times. Man, I love it. I love how passionate. This is awesome. This is awesome. Who's this? Oh yeah,
Artsy.
right on the money. Right on the money. Artsy says actively good Skeletor and back again.
Mm-hmm.
When you play Skeletor, everyone will think that you're emulating Jared Leto now.
Can we not? I should let you know, Kirk and Andy. Edwin loves to comment, so expect.
We love comments. We love comments. We love them. We love the community. So, like, you're welcome here, Edwin. I'm really just giving you a hard time so you know how we are. We're always like this. You're just silly, and everybody's welcome. No, and hopefully you're not offended. So, all right. So, He-Man, you guys like He-Man? So you already talked about it.
I don't like He-Man. I hate He-Man.
Yeah.
I
Jacob
didn't
and Drew?
grow up with He-Man, but anytime He-Man comes up now, I think back to our first year on the Cel Cast, when we were talking about Transformers the movie. Somehow, Jacob, my friend, makes a reference to He-Man some way, and it sounded like He-Man in the retirement home.
Oh my gosh, that's short. Go look for it.
Go look for it, because I released it separately because it would not have fit the show.
Oh my gosh, you are not kidding.
It's like way early on, but it's one of the funniest moments I think we ever had.
Oh my
it was
gosh.
purely spontaneous.
Yeah, kind of like the same way with you, Kirk. Be like, I grew up watching He-Man. It was one of my favorite shows. Looking back now, be like as a media, be like, so they reuse animation all the time. It's rotoscoped. It's done incredibly well. Be like, I love it. I love He-Man Death, and especially with the new movie coming out next year.
I will also say this last comment. A lot of the old stuff that I watched as a kid, and I know this is dangerous to say in such circles because I love nostalgia and I love old things. Sometimes, just like you mentioned earlier about your show, Nathan, sometimes they're not rewatchable. He-Man absolutely is. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I know this. I know the shtick. I know the silly things, and it just is. It's just wonderful to watch, even though it's so bad.
I didn't watch a whole lot of the original, but I did catch some of the early 2000 show. Yeah, which I actually thought that one was
my son actually loves
it was
those,
good.
even
And I did see
That was the only bit I saw.
And I did see the Dolph Lundgren movie.
Oh gosh, yeah, I grew up watching that one.
Or
Masters of the Universe Revelation.
We're moving along. Here we go. Andy, you're up.
I'm not crushing with you for sure.
No, I'm not saying crush with me. Crush with anybody.
Oh wow. So what I did not expect tonight, for one, was like I've already mentioned, the fact that I would be 4 for 4 at this point. That's blowing my mind. I think there's going to be some coming up soon that I probably am not knowing. But what even more so I didn't expect to happen tonight at all, especially for me. It's Servo from Superhuman Samurai Squad. I wrote him down thinking no one else watched this show. I remember I remember watching this with my uncle. My uncle, I've talked about him before, 5 years older than me, so it's kind of like a cousin, right?
Here, I'm just gonna put him back on the screen for you.
And I was, let's put him back there, right? Let's show him just so everyone can see. I didn't think that this was going to happen today, but I'm so glad that it did. So I remember watching this as a kid with my uncle, like thinking this was like the coolest thing ever. This is like the Power Rangers that no one else knew about, right? Like, and then coming to find out that Tim Curry's in it, Matthew Lawrence. It's such a short-lived show. I loved the concept of fighting the computer virus and just that different spin on it.
Andy, it's funny that you say it was short-lived because the American version actually has more episodes than the Japanese show because they just recycled footage from some of the episodes and made a second episode.
Yeah, so
and
that makes sense. Thinking back to it, it's like I feel like I've seen this a few times. But what's funny about this show is that when I was teaching in public school, I taught computer lab, so I tried my hardest to find this show just to show it to my students, like during testing or whatever, because I was like, let's put something in there that's kind of loosely related to computers and internet access and stuff like that. But yeah, this was the definitely where I went. I realized I didn't share my criteria. My criteria is, and I did ask for clarification. I did pick individual characters because I knew that we were talking heroes, and they all have to be in nostalgia. The cool thing about this is that they're all just by default going to be nostalgia because, well, at least I thought so, because I'm not realizing that half these things are Henshin until tonight. So,
Andy.
Yeah. You were the cool teacher. Yeah, man. I would show this.
We have another Edwin.
I would show this. I would show Wall-E, and I would show Ralph Breaks the Internet. Those are, and Hidden Figures. Those were the 4 movies that I would want to show. But yeah, this Servo, I had no idea that we would at all crush more to this.
Which is awesome. That means we can make up some time. And
Servo.
Dude, good. I knew you had this on your list when you said, and Matthew Lawrence and Tim Curry. Because you were like, you had
too much about this show to not.
You had it ready. You had it ready. And I was like, oh, it's coming.
I was holding on to this one, and honestly, I thought about putting this in Benjamin's, and I'm glad I didn't.
I'm glad you didn't.
Benjamin's is like the one you try to hold
Nathan,
on.
you're back up. This is TJ Jazzy Jeff. Fun name for Thomas Jefferson. We don't need any criteria now. You just jump in. What is number 3?
Number 3 is another. This is the pick I would say I'm going with. This is made in an era that I have tremendous appreciation for. I did not experience much of it. I have vague memories of one of this character's American adaptations. He was technically in 2 series. It was one of the rare times they did a second season, but they retitled it and gave him a new power set and suit. But the American adaptation is notoriously bad. We don't talk about that one. But when I finally watched the original show, both of them really, I was blown away by it. This was made at the height of gritty action movies in the 80s. I gotta go with my boy Kotaro Minami, Henshin Kamen Rider Black and Kamen Rider Black RX. I got the picture up.
Let's see. Let's add them in there.
Yeah, there we go. Now, you might be wondering, why is there 4 of them on here? It's because the suit all the way on the right, that was from the second season, that was notoriously made into Saban's Masked Rider. We don't talk about that one. He had a couple of alt modes, and that's what the two are in the center. But the one all the way on the left is the original suit, Kamen Rider Black. Kamen Rider, for those who don't know, Kamen means mask. That's why the American show was called Masked Rider. This is a franchise in Japan of mostly motorcycle riding superheroes, and most of the early writers were themed around insects. He was specifically themed around a grasshopper. And this is an incredibly dark and gritty show. The premise is that you have this secret cult that is trying to take over the world. They kidnap Kotaro Minami, and they perform surgery on him, turning him into a cyborg. That's how he becomes Kamen Rider, because they are trying to groom him to become their new king for when they take over the world. Well, his adopted brother also had surgery done to him, but while Kotaro rejected the cult and their evil, his friend instead embraced it and becomes his arch nemesis, Shadow Moon. And that is the central conflict of that first season of the show, which is definitely the best out of all of them, out of the two. And I love the show. I love this character. Like I said, it's got that action movie grit to it. I love the style of it. I highly recommend getting this show. You can purchase it on Blu-ray from Discotheque Media. It's a great release. I love the show. Don't watch Masked Rider if you can avoid it.
So you have introduced this to me completely by just telling me we're doing Henshin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did we lose him?
He froze.
Either the 1, the 2, or the 3.
Yeah, we lost you for a second, Kirk.
Yeah, so everybody had. Yeah, everybody had this on the list. On every list I found, I'm like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm glad you pronounced it, because I thought it was Kamen Rider.
Yeah, I've heard it
pronounced
Kamen Rider.
Okay.
I've heard it pronounced Kamen.
It is.
Now,
it was all over every list.
I would not say he's the most important Kamen Rider. That would go to the original Kamen Rider from 1971, but he's my personal favorite Kamen Rider.
Yeah, and all I was gonna say was I learned a lot about him kind of looking this up, because everybody picked it. And I was like, why? What? And I had a feeling that you were gonna pick this, or one of you guys would. So this is on brand, I believe. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
he has one
this one?
He has one of the manliest transformation sequences of any hero.
I'm 5 for 6. I'm 5 for 6.
Andy, you're 5 for 6.
You don't remember Saban's Masked Rider? If you remember Saban's Masked Rider, that kind of sort of counts.
No.
I do.
And
That
most
was my
of us
first introduction to any of that.
I was to say we wish we didn't, but we do. Yeah.
I mean, he was fine in the Power Rangers crossover episode. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, there you go. I mean,
anyone wants to know which transformation gives you chills every time? Ben 10, some of the early and Alien Force transformations were haunting, amazingly cool and insane, or rather screwed up if see it. Any transformation you want to add that gives you the chills?
I would honestly, I would probably say Kamen Rider Black. He has a great transformation sequence. This was. Sometimes the transformation sequences are very quick. Sometimes it's a whole to do, so they can pad out an episode.
I would say
Ultraman transformations tend to be pretty quick, but like you look at Kamen Rider, they like making it a whole to do.
I would say my most controversial pick of the night is probably my favorite. Okay. But we'll talk about that later. Andy, so you don't know this one?
5 for 6.
Gentlemen, tell me about Kamen Rider. What do you know?
I watched Masked Rider as a kid.
Ditto.
I remember Furbus. But
we don't talk about Furbus. We don't.
But
talk
I have not actually sat down and watched the original Japanese version. So
You did
Nice.
watch a handful of episodes of the original because you became my co-host on another podcast I did called Henshin Men. You
I'll be
walked into
commenting
that
later.
one.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, I was gonna say you walked into that
around.
one.
So, all right, good pick. Good pick. I kind of had a feeling that's kind of where you would be. So you're on brand. Drew, you have a Crushmore? You want to give us a new one? What you got?
Well, technically, this isn't a Crushmore.
Good. Tell us.
And technically, Nate just kind of commented on it accidentally because I did not watch the show until I was following Nate, and he and one of his friends, whose name I can't remember, my apologies,
Travis.
starting a podcast called Henshin Men.
Travis.
First show that they were watching was the original Kamen Rider.
There you go.
And I was watching the episodes along with them. And then I got behind because, you get busy. And his friend had to drop out for whatever reason. And being a podcaster and not wanting my Nate to suffer, I just volunteered. It's like, hey, if you need me for an episode, I don't care which one, put me on. Next thing I know, I'm on 5 episodes?
Something like that.
I had to jump to the end of the series. But at the same time, in what I watched, especially in my rush to catch up, Kamen Rider Ichigo, a.k.a. My brain just farted, hang on.
Kamen Rider 1.
Yeah, Kamen Rider 1, a.k.a. Takeshi Hongo,
Takeshi Hongo, yeah.
quickly became like my favorite Kamen Rider, period. And I have seen a couple of the other shows.
I have an illustration for those who need to know what he looks like.
But I don't consider this a Crushmore because it is technically an entirely different superhero.
It's a different character, yes.
It's a different character entirely. But yeah, Takeshi Hongo, Kamen Rider 1 or Kamen Rider
However,
Ichigo is my favorite. Is my number 3.
He did have a crossover with Kotaro. In the last
Kamen Rider Ichigo had a crossover with nearly every Kamen Rider.
He did, but in the last in the last handful of episodes of Kamen Rider Black RX, which was the 2nd season,
right?
All of the previous writers, so we're talking like 7 of them, all came back and they joined forces to go fight the bad guys.
Fair, but I haven't got to that show yet, so.
That is another one that I don't know any of the Kamen Riders, so I'm glad you're bringing this to the Rushmore Show.
Not very common to me.
By the way, you can watch 99 episodes of Virtual Kamen Rider on Tubi. So
yeah, and Amazon Prime now.
Yeah,
nice. So I might have to check out an episode or two and see if that fits.
Be warned, it's 98 episodes, and
well,
there are very distinct
it's of its time
tones to certain sets of episodes because it's 98 episodes. And the first 13 are really dark and low budget and freaky.
Yeah, it's a show of its time. It's trying to be a dark show, but on the budget of like Batman 66.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Drew,
really?
Because in the original show, the first villain he ever fights
it's Spider-Man.
It's called Spider-Man, and then the second one is Batman.
And then he went and fought Scorpion.
I know Spider-Man. I know that. I know. I didn't know that's in the same.
It's not this Spider-Man either.
Right.
Not that Spider-Man. It was just the guy who was half spider,
half spider, half human.
Right. I know who it is, but that's in the same world.
No, it's not Marvel's Spider-Man. It's not even the Japanese Spider-Man.
I know who you're talking about. I know this one. I know this one for sure. I know what you're talking about.
He only showed up in one episode.
But they but it has become tradition for a Kamen Rider to fight a spider and a bat in their first couple of episodes.
And usually a scorpion not long after that.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a lot more to get to.
5 for 7.
Justice for the Flying Scroll Monster.
For 7.
Jacob's up. Jacob, you crushing?
I think I am kind of crushing a little bit.
What?
It's kind of following yours, Kirk.
Oh, go ahead.
Mine would be He-Man Masters of the Universe 2000X and 2002.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same, similar with them. Not exactly a Rushmore, but we're on task. So tell us about it.
Yeah, so He-Man Masters of the Universe 2000X is more properly called now. Actually, in San Diego Comic-Con going on right now, it'd be like they are like Mondo's doing their own thing with 2000X. Mattel's doing their own thing with 2000X, so it's a big thing right now. So it'd be like I remember 2000X as this really cool kind of a reboot, kind of like a fresh take on He-Man, because in the original show, do not get me wrong, I love the original He-Man. Do not get me wrong, but I think the way they approached this He-Man for 2000X, be like you have this scrawny little guy you would never expect in a million years would be the master of the universe, would be He-Man. And I love the story build up. It's got great lore. It's like a certain other one that I'm going to go to later that is kind of a reboot of another series from the 80s. But this one in particular, I love the redesign of the sword. I kind of like it's an homage to definitely He-Man's his battle outfit is very homage to the original He-Man from Filmation.
This He-Man has a much longer torso. Like he's a
much larger
build.
torso. The fun fact, I love toys. I love toys. So when they designed when they designed this He-Man, they had a little group called the Four Horsemen Studios who would go on later to do like their own toy line, because they designed all the toys for that show, because it was a very similar thing, because they wanted to design a new toy line, so they created a cartoon for it. And sadly, it only got 1 season or 2 seasons actually. And it was very sad to hear that, because I was like, this is a really good show, because they go really deep into lore. And I love the idea of, like, you make Prince Adam a little wimp of a guy. He's a really tiny little guy. Yeah, and then he turns into He-Man, definitely in that transformation style.
Much more different than the Prince Adam of the original.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. But
he's wearing a medium shirt the whole time. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Don't mind these muscles. I'm not. Yeah. I'm just a little nerdy.
Like, no. I'm definitely not He-Man. No, can't.
I'm not He-Man.
But it's just, I love it. Be like the fact that you like this cringer. He doesn't talk, which I kind of like that idea. But like he doesn't talk, even though it's like, but Adam, I love that. I love the old cringer. I mean, heck, I even love when they did Masters of the Universe Revelation. I love that. I love that version of it. But this particular version to me was absolutely just like, oh my God.
My son loves this version quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he loves collecting this toy line.
Oh, really?
He collects this toy line. He collects the retro toy line from the original that they have out now.
Yeah.
So he loves both of these. It's a good pick. Nice. Good pick. Andy, you know this one, right? Is that
6 for 8? I'm back on the board. This
back
is a good
on the board again.
Yeah. No, this is good. I like the reboot. I like the updated. I mean, some people don't love especially if you have enough nostalgia for like if
and see,
let me just use an example of Donkey Kong.
I love a good reboot, man. I love it.
Oh yeah,
Donkey Kong now, everybody's up in arms about the Switch, the new Bonanza version. I love an updated whatever. I mean, most of our beloved characters have had updates over the years. So
yeah, that's what makes a good series, a good franchise.
I love a good reimagining. Yeah.
It reminds me of remember when X-Men Evolution came out, like they got updated look and whatever. That was really cool. Yeah. So around that same time too, I guess. So
yeah, it's good when you have a franchise like He-Man, Thundercats, Turtles, or whatever. X-Men, for example, be like, if they can cross over into a new generation and be like, and be popular there. Like you look at like the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, be like, that's a new series and kids are gobbling it up because they love it so much. And so it's not built, it's not designed for us, for our generation, but we can admire it. It's like, wow, that's really cool.
We talk about that all the time. Like, this is not our nostalgia that we're building. These are our kids' nostalgia. And we just have to know
exactly
that, but I love this pick. Good pick, man. So Kirk, we're back to you. Yep.
I am.
Let's see if I can go 7 for 9. What you got?
You're gonna go 7 for 9. You're in on this one. I am. I love superheroes, and there's a bunch of them that I could have picked, and actually, This one right here kind of changed the face of what we know as superhero movies. And I'm going to give an homage to old Ozzy right now. And I'm going Iron Man.
Ooh.
I actually thought of this
Tony
one.
Stark.
Okay.
As in the
Iron
Marvel.
Man. And I'm a little shout out to Ozzy, right? But Robert Downey Jr. did it perfect, and I'm excited to see how it all goes forward now with Doctor Doom. But the reality is, I love superheroes. I love Marvel, and without the suit, he's nothing. And
No, he's a
rich
billionaire playboy philanthropist, sir.
which
Who
gets you
built it out of
zero.
scraps?
He's not as cool as Batman. He has to have a powers. Batman is actually everything that billionaire wish he could be, but he can't be. But I love them both, and he changed the world for my kids, because when we brought that movie out and it actually did well, it brought something to the screen that we as kids, me as a child, wish I would have had, because everything that we wanted was cartoons. And I say that very knowing who's on panel with me. You guys understand what I'm saying, that like our cartoons are so awesome because they brought our imaginations to life. And it's so amazing to see live action people being able to do the same thing nowadays. And what little bit we knew of Iron Man back in the day through the comics, he is now portrayed as one of the top, probably on many of our children's Rushmore of superheroes.
Mhm.
And he would never have been many of our Rushmores of superheroes back in the 80s. He's just another guy. He's another guy, a part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
But now, when he died, that was one of the most epic moments in the cinematic universe. So I'm going Iron Man. This was easy for me. I just didn't know how high I was going to put him up the mountain.
Yeah, fair.
I would say certainly, and depending on the show or the whatever media he's in, he's more henshin than you realize. Because sometimes they do bother to make this whole sequence where he gets suited up.
That is true.
Like
I actually thought of Iron Man for my list, but the reason he didn't make this or my Benjamins basically was because, in a way, it is still kind of a costume change. It's just because it's the costume that gives him the powers, and it was just a little too.
Yeah, but
it was a little too on the line for what I was doing, so that's why.
But
I assume the heart portion of being the reactor, and then going forward, like when you get to Iron Man.
I don't judge you for this pick. I love this pick.
Great pick.
Towards the layer where the suit actually becomes part of his body. I mean, he's evolving the whole time.
Yeah.
But with it
No,
off,
I would still argue, Drew, and I'm arguing in favor of you, Kirk, here, that there is an entire franchise didn't reach the heights of Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai in Japan. Those are the three big franchises. But it was called Metal Heroes.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
And that lasted about 15 or so years.
I kind of watched it because I watched Big Bad Beetleborgs back.
Big Bad Beetleborgs is based on one of those shows.
While I was chatting real quick, Three Good Nerds. He's going to be on the show during sports. We got to nail out our topic, nail out all that stuff. But Three Good Nerds, great sports card family. Go check them out. Iron Man launched modern comic book movies. Robert deserves a ton of credit. Yes, he does.
Yeah. But anyway, what I was going to say is that in Metal Heroes, all of those characters are either robots or guys in power armor.
I get that. I get that. But at some point, I had decided I was going to leave off robots also, even though I did not specify that as part of my criteria. This is kind of both. I say that knowing full aware that technically Kamen Rider is a cyborg, but we're going to move past that.
All right.
I just said it just didn't make my list.
Yep. And that's
so
cool.
that makes you 7 for 9, right?
7 for 9.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and
it's
you
an
already know my other two, so you're at least at this moment 9 for 11, and let's see how this all
I'm
thing
down to
goes.
get a couple more. I'm over 50% today, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
We're over
We'll be
50.
good.
Um,
All right. So to me, this is the guy that, to be honest with you, so just breaking news here. I had two in my Benjamins that at the beginning of recording tonight. This is one of them that has moved up from the Benjamins because I now feel safe to do this based on what I didn't realize Henshin, like what we were going to do, like all
Oh
this kind of stuff.
no.
It's like things I wasn't even thinking of.
there has been a change.
And not only, now this is foreshadowing, my George is a brand new George because of it, right? So my number one. Because I think he's absolutely by far leaps and bounds above my favorite of these, right? So, but we'll get to that one later. Starting here, though, I'm going to the video game world. I'm going to nostalgia. We talk about this all of the time when it comes to classic video games. I'm going.
Do it.
Supersonic. Supersonic is my Henshin choice here.
Wow.
That golden aura, red eyes. Dude, I remember as a kid, if you could get Supersonic, you were like, come at me, bro. Like nobody, like you were just the coolest. Obviously, the invincibility, the super speed, all of those other things, the transformation and the look, that's a dramatic transformation. Supersonic was that guy where if you collected all the Chaos Emeralds, you could then become Supersonic, and it was just awesome. So I am going nostalgia all the way with this pick. Sega Genesis, give me Sega. I'm going Supersonic. Supersonic's my guy.
It made Drew happy.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my gosh. So here's the story.
Don't get too far into it because it may come up later.
Oh, never mind.
Hey, I have not spoiled anything. Don't read too much into that.
I gotcha. I was just going to tell a nice story. That's it.
Go ahead.
All right. I was going to tell a very nice story. So you'll let him flip over real quick.
If I can find my cursor.
Where's the cursor? There's the cursor. All right. So we are going to see Sonic 3 in theaters, or Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in theaters for a reaction for the show. And so we are getting to the point where if you have not seen Sonic the Hedgehog 3, be like, you might not want to listen to this. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about.
It's
so
the end of Sonic Adventure 2, basically.
Yes. So we're getting to the end of the fight where him and Shadow are at the end of their fight, and be like, and they both go supersonic. Oh, what's supersonic? It's not Gold Sonic, whatever it's called.
Super form, we'll say.
Super form, whatever.
Hey, let's be honest. It is based on Super Saiyans. It's Super Saiyan.
That is true.
There's just their hedgehogs.
That is true. So that point where be like, they both go super, and be like, all you hear is Live and Learn by, what is that band called?
Crush 40.
Crush 40. And this guy over here
I was geeking out a little.
He was, like geeking out this small term. He's like, oh my gosh!
I was not that loud out of respect for my fellow theater goers.
But it was great. It's just like, I thought it was a great little story when you mentioned, Gold Sonic.
There we go. I was not chicken jockeying at the
Hey, so Edwin wants to say, who's the most underrated masked hero in pop culture? Ben Tennyson, Cocky Kid, franchise owner, Cartoon Network, or Warner Brothers really dropped the ball? My first superhero. So I'm guessing you're saying Ben 10 is the guy, is the most?
Yeah, it sounds like he's saying Ben 10 and Rex.
Yeah.
Underrated superhero.
Underrated
superhero is Space Hero.
Dropped the ball, but the character showed growth, sacrifice. He took things seriously. The bad guy's friends got afraid. It was like Spider-Man. I will say this. Ben 10 is kind of after my time because of my age, but my son loved it as a young guy. My daughter also loved it as a young person. So I started watching it, and one of the things that I really love about cartoons, animation, and things like that is when it's done well and it's witty and it can go across lines of not just a kid, but even the kid's parents that may have never even seen it. I really enjoy it. It is one of those ones I can sit down and not be like, this is dumb kid stuff. I really like, I value this for you. I like it. And so I agree. Not with that being said. Good. Supersonic. So this is what you pulled up. I'm wondering what went down. I'm curious, but we'll see later.
Oh yeah. I may hold on to those ones later if they're possible, but we'll see.
Supersonic. They just won't get out of my head. Supersonic. Yeah.
Supersonic.
All right, so we're halfway. We're halfway. We made it. Halfway. We're only 20 minutes behind the normal.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Oh, we got time. We'll stretch it out somehow.
Not bad. All right.
5 hours later.
Everybody, thanks for being here. Let's get into this. So I am rocking the shirt on purpose. This is not Henshin Heroes by any stretch of the imagination. This is our good old friends, Five Nights at Freddy's, because a couple shows ago, Louisiana RetroCon did Five Nights at Freddy's. Last show, actually, Andy, was Supersonic, and Sonic was the show. And this year it's Mario, and we will be there, Louisiana RetroCon, 2 weekends from now, and it is in Gonzales, Louisiana. Come out to the Lamar Dixon to come hang out with us, and I will be preaching. There it is. There's the Mario version, and that was 2 Mario versions ago. Yeah, and I'll just say this: I'm preaching on Mario, powering up of some sort. We'll have that, and we're doing it at the convention because you can't see it right now because it's behind the comments. But right there under Andy's unbearded chin is his old bearded face, and we call it Reboot because in Reboot we believe that in order to be right in heaven, which I'm still rocking the amazing Camp is Heaven bracelet, blue Bobcats, where you at? In order to get to heaven, you have to have a transformation. Hey, what is going on? You have the transformation, and we call it a reboot. Hey, we're calling it a reboot. And a reboot is just an unconventional ministry that we do at conventions. It's a nerdy ministry where we preach at the convention, like inside the doors, not outside the doors, not smashing people in the head with Bibles, but giving them and telling them what's inside it. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. Come on out 2 weekends from now, Lamar Dixon, Gonzales, Louisiana. Come hang out with us Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be an amazing time. Andy, let's do our member of the week. Last week, we shouted out our friend Bryce. This week, I think we should shout out our other good buddy because we're about to go to Link, so we might as well talk about Link a little bit. Let's talk about Dark Link. This is our membership spotlight of the week.
Step into the shadows with Dark Link's Gaming, a retro-fueled live stream experience where Zelda reigns, chaos is random, and every win or loss is part of the adventure. From Ocarina of Time rando runs to deep dives into retro and modern classics, this channel is built for die-hard fans who love the grind. Join Dark Links Gaming at youtube.com/@DarkLinksGaming and connect on Discord or Instagram @AdventDarkLink.
So if you want to become a member of the channel, it's only $1 a month or $2 a month. You do $2 a month, you get a cool thing like that for your channel. And DarkLink actually purchased like 50 of those for a bunch of people. So we have a bunch of friends. And you become a membership spotlight. And you also get to pick what we call the Rushmore Revisited. And we go back to an old show and revisit it with you. So, or in homage of you, if you'd like us to do that. And so that's that. Andy, it's getting late, and I think we need some caffeine. You want to tell our good old buddies about our favorite coffee?
Check out the official coffee of the Rushmore Show, Village Coffee.
Let's face it, at-home coffee can be pretty stale. Coffee at home doesn't have to be boring. The Village Coffee is here to deliver the flavor. The Village Coffee roasts coffee every week and sells online. Go to villagebeans.com to order your coffee today and use discount code RUSHMORE for free shipping.
And also, hey, just a real quick heads
And
up.
we've got
All of the branding for the Village Coffee has changed. They've changed the names of their roasts. You should go check all that stuff out. I'm
So no more
working
Brazil?
hard- working. Well, it's still Brazil. It just has a new name. But I am working hard on getting our very own Rushmore roast. So
Yeah, we're gonna have the Rushmore roast.
we're working on that. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So Brazil and Colombia are my two favorite. Ethiopia is not bad. Mexico. Oh, I like Mexico too. If I was to get a 3-pack, I'd probably keep Ethiopia out. Just me. But I love those 4. And then they also have a cold brew now. They've got all kinds of stuff. They got pods. And you put the Rushmore in and you get free shipping. That's pretty awesome. So, Andy, let's talk about our good friends over your left eyebrow. And we call it the Culture Box. And we've got some of our Culture Box friends on. And Nathan, we apologize because we don't have your video yet ready because this summer has been crazily packed. But your video is coming soon. So let's share another video, Andy. And Nathan can kind of understand what he's about to receive. The amazing production that is going to happen once every 4 shows for Nathan's show.
Come on.
It's coming soon.
Check out our friends at the Cel Cast.
Hey, who's those guys?
The Cel Cast hosts Jacob and Drew review animated movies and TV shows, discussing what they appreciate about the medium in whatever form it takes, whether it's a traditional hand-drawn animated movie, claymation shorts, or a 3D CGI series. Check out some animated reviews when you subscribe to the Cel Cast at thecelcast.podbean.com. And don't forget, Cel is spelled with a C and a single L at thecelcast.podbean.com.
Hey, that actually had one of my episodes on there.
Yeah.
So we kind
Even
of
has that art.
Even had an MIFV shout out there on Kong.
You did.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the episode I was thinking of, the one that said 6-pack packs.
Did I misspelled initially?
So I think we did everything that we were supposed to do. So let's move on up. Nathan, we are to Link. We just talked about Link. Let's see. Does Zelda have a Henshin in it? No, they don't. So we're probably not going Zelda today.
You could have one.
There is
Might
one.
have one. Might have one. I mean, potentially.
I mean, in Ocarina of Time.
And then
I'll give it
it's
to
not
you.
the one I'm thinking of.
Just let's keep moving on. Let's keep moving on before we give it
Moving
away.
right along.
Dig-a-doom, dig-a-doom.
We probably should,
So Nathan, you're up.
because we can start really debating some things here. All right, so
Oh, we're debating. We're about
well,
to debate.
well, yeah, but this character is usually high up on people's list for this particular franchise. I would not say he's the most important member of this franchise, but he did change some things when he came along. He basically not so much, I guess you could say rebooted the franchise, but it was a kickstart that it needed when he showed up in the mid-90s. Funny enough, about 7 or so years later, because Fox needed a replacement for Power Rangers, they brought this show over and dubbed it, thank you, 4Kids. 4Kids. You either made everything better or ruined your childhood, depending on who you talk to. But
Usually the second.
yeah. So yes, there was a 4Kids dub of the show. It did not do well as a replacement for Power Rangers for Fox, but this was my introduction to this franchise, and it has become one of my favorite franchises in the Henshin hero world. Everybody meet Ultraman Tiga.
Ah.
I had a feeling one of these
I
guys.
think I've drawn that character before.
Yes, you have actually when you did the episode's not out yet, but yes, yeah, you've drawn this character.
Yes, I have.
So, a quick story. Yes, Ultraman as a franchise started in 1966, went until the end of 1981, and then for many reasons, basically went on hiatus. There were a handful of foreign productions, including a Hanna-Barbera produced animated movie that was supposed to be the pilot for a TV show. Jacob and Drew know all about it. We've recorded an episode about it. It's not out yet, but we've recorded an episode. And so then the 30th anniversary rolls around and Tsuburaya Productions says, let's get this going again. So they relaunched the franchise with this character, and he became incredibly popular. There have been some things that have held the show back because they went through an awful talent agency to get the main character for the show. His name was Daigo Madoka. He was the Ultra host in that one. This Ultraman Tiga as a show was revolutionary in a couple of ways. It changed the origin of Ultras. So in this particular universe, he's not an alien. He's actually a member of an ancient civilization who bonds with a present day human. And he was the first Ultraman to have alt modes. He had his default mode that you see in the picture is multi-type. So he's a balance of power and speed. And then there was power type and sky type. Power type was power type put the priority on strength, and sky type put priority on speed. And I love the simplicity of it because there's not some ridiculous new armor or costume design or whatever. No, he just changes colors. It's simple, and I love it. And the show is absolutely fantastic. The effects are great, and the story is absolutely wonderful. There's some great characters in it. I highly recommend it. The lore gets a little bit weird at points and even a little convoluted, but I love it for those reasons. There's a couple of movie spinoffs for it, including a finale movie called The Final Odyssey that is also great if you can find it. That hasn't been officially released in the US yet, unfortunately. So yeah, he was my first Ultraman, so I couldn't not include him.
Nice. So Ultraman
Tiga.
This is the third one. I mean, I've seen Ultraman, but this do I count this one because I don't think I watched this. So
well, like I said, it was on Fox.
I know it.
Yeah,
I just don't. I never watched this.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and funny enough, I didn't mention it's Tiga. His name that is actually, I think it's Filipino or no, it's Malaysian. It is the Malaysian word for 3 because he has 3 modes.
Wow. And now you know.
And
G.I. Joe. There you go. No, this is a good pick. This is a good pick here. I'm going to technically count it on ones that I know because I know it, but I don't think I watched this at all. But
well, and the other thing that's cool about him is his transformation device looks kind of like a torch. In fact, in the dub, it was called the Torch of Tiga. And if you look at Tiga's design, his chest armor looks like a torch.
So you said this was on Fox Kids?
This was on Fox Kids. About half the show aired in dubbed form on Fox Kids. It went about...
Well, I didn't beat level 1 of Ultraman, but there you go.
Yeah, it was about 50 episodes. They did not air all of the dub for it.
Okay.
What's interesting.
It's probably how I heard about it.
Yeah, and the other thing that's cool about Ultraman is the creator of Ultraman, Eiji Tsuburaya, who did special effects for old Toho movies. He was a rare Japanese Catholic, so there's always been some Christian undertones to Ultraman. And in Ultraman Tiga, they actually make it like the subtext comes so close to the surface, it's almost text, that they make it abundantly clear. It's like, yes, there is Christian imagery in this show. It's wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah, I know who Ultraman is. It's pretty hard if you're a nerd of any type not to at least know who he is. I never knew what he did or anything. I knew that he was kind of a alien robot-like thing that fought kaiju-like things.
He's not a robot.
Right. Alien robot-like thing.
Yeah.
That fought. Yeah. So, because I didn't know who he was. And, but I know that he was super cool, right? Like in overseas. I just didn't have any experience with him.
Yep.
Matter of
He's
fact,
the Japanese equivalent. Yeah, he's the Japanese equivalent of Superman. He's an institution in Japan.
Yeah. So, good
And I
pick.
should point out that the Ultraman that's in the new Superman movie has nothing to do with this Ultraman.
That's
So-
the DC Superman who actually predates Japanese Superman by
Yeah.
2 years.
You mean Ultraman?
If you've hung around the show long enough, you'd know that I like to tease things in the thumbnail of stuff that I'm probably not going to pick but should pick. And this was at least the picture. There's also a sound.
It's the
There was a
original
sound
Ultraman.
that was there too, and I'm not picking that either. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's the original Ultraman. The original Ultraman is the GOAT because he's the most important member of that franchise. Because without him, we wouldn't have most everything else that we're probably talking about here. He was basically the first, as
Nice.
we understand Henshin Heroes. And if that was the kind of list we were going with, that's who I would have gone with. But I went with Tiga because it's
I love
nostalgia,
that.
and he
Good
was my
pick.
first Ultraman.
great pick. All right, Andy, you mentioned your stuff about Ultraman. Now it's time to listen to Drew tell us about his link. The missing link.
You want my opinion on Ultraman, or you want me to do my next?
You can drop your opinion, but give your next too.
Because admittedly, the only Ultraman I have connection with is Ultraman Rising, the original Ultraman, and the Ultraman that Nate made us watch for his show.
Archie Steph says that's the
Oh,
fave.
HENSHIN Ultraman.
Archie Steph says Ultraman Rising was the fave. So,
It is a very good movie.
It's
If
a
you've
good
not
movie.
seen it, you should.
Very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
so who is your missing link?
My link. Well, Andy kind of referenced it a minute ago, but this is not a Crushmore. I need to make that very clear because while Sonic is a great character and he does have that supersonic transformation, Sonic is a touch on the lame side if you stop and think about it. 'cause
Oh,
he's a bit of a goody two-shoes.
Out of here.
He doesn't quite have the edge of my pick, who is known as the ultimate life form and is a little bit of a
Gruff.
well, let's just say Sonic was never voiced by Keanu Reeves. So my pick actually is Super Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Because here's the thing that Jacob did not mention during that story.
Oh gosh.
That was not my only geek out moment.
Oh no, it wasn't. But it was one of the ones I remember.
The good one, the big one for me was when Shadow's finally coming
Oh
around
yeah.
and is going to do the sacrifice. Spoiler alert. That he doesn't.
Hey, that's what I preached on. That's what I preached on last time at Culture
in the
Box.
movie. He goes in the movie and takes off his limiter rings, which they didn't have to show that, but they showed it. And I'm going, he's taking off the rings. Oh my God. He may not remember that. I remember it.
I'll remember it now. I
Andy,
remember it very
Andy,
clearly.
make a note. We need to just clip what just happened. Clip that.
Yes, exactly. Steph, do it now.
Because here's the thing. When I grew up playing Sonic the Hedgehog. I had Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Genesis, loved it to death. Had Sonic CD on the Windows 95 version for as good as that was. And don't get me wrong, love Super Sonic to death. And I loved seeing him in Sonic Adventure as he's fighting basically a kaiju called Perfect Chaos in that final boss battle. But there is not a moment that doesn't get. But I'm a sucker for a good redemption story, and Shadow has, in my opinion, one of the best in gaming. And I am also very happy that they pretty much put that on screen in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with a couple changes, but you expect that. But yeah, Super Shadow is my favorite because, let's face it, Sonic's only yellow, Shadow's gold.
Oh.
Hey, I applaud this pick. I don't know if you heard me kind of talking over, but Louisiana RetroCon, last one in the spring, the movie had just kind of released. We were doing it was all about Sonic, and I preached on that redemption story. And right there, that sign, that wooden sign that's right behind the R, the lady that made that heard that message and was like, I love this so much. And she comes and visits in the channel all the time. And she's like, I've never heard a message from Sonic that could that could help these. You're perfect for these conventions. And she was so awesome. But I love Shadow.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah, I'll just say this. You can say he's better all you want, but there's Sonic is the franchise. So
I'm not saying he's not. Without Sonic is the GOAT, because just like what Nate said earlier about Ultraman, if we didn't have Sonic, we wouldn't have Shadow, because Shadow is literally meant to be the shadow of Sonic.
there you go.
But at the same time, you put a gun to my head and say you got to pick one. Well,
Which, by the way,
I go with Shadow because he's just cooler and fits my 90s kid.
Not just in this
just
argument.
a little bit more than Sonic does.
Yeah, not just in this argument, but you just said something, and I always think, like, if I'm forced to pick, or if you put a gun to my head and you ask me, that it's always something that's like, why would somebody point a gun to your head?
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
But
I always, and you just
Tell me what the answer is that you want to hear.
it's like if you had to say chocolate or raspberries, but you had a gun to your head, it's like, why is that?
why do you not have chocolate covered raspberry?
Yeah, can we have them both?
Exactly.
In your head? Anyway, no, good pick.
The
Good pick. I do like that.
Hedgehog.
I do like that.
I mean, he is.
Any of you guys, Shadow fans of Shadow?
I am not nearly as well versed in Sonic the Hedgehog games as
yeah,
Drew
me
is.
neither. Like I'd be like,
I have played some and I have beaten some, but I don't think I've ever actually played one with Shadow.
Also,
Can we all
Shadow's the
agree-
only one that's actually gotten a cuss word in his game.
that is true.
Can we all agree that all of these are better than Tails, though?
Yes.
Okay, well then.
Make the cat's better than Tails.
Wow!
Wow.
We are full of hot takes tonight.
Good night.
No offense to Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and I do like Tails sometimes, but Tails is a sidekick.
Tails, we could do without Tails. I mean,
Tails dies on off screen too many times.
Tails is like Flippy from Star Fox, you know?
Oh,
Big HBCC has great Henshin hero news. I'm crossing my fingers for a lot of details about my favorite book and its Spawn crossover coming soon. Sonic Unleashed
Rogue Sun.
should be a movie.
If you want werehogs, go right ahead. But admittedly, that was kind of Sonic Adventure 3.
This is an awesome pick. So when it's my turn, I'll tell you kind of some of my how I pick my things, Nathan. Drew and Jacob have probably heard it before. And I'll tell you why Sonic was kind of off my radar, which is weird. Jacob, what do you got next?
Hang on.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I forgot to switch a second ago.
So this is a series that is dear to my heart. The series came out when I was either I was in middle school, high school, kind of that transitional era. I think I was in high school. So this came out in 1998, 1999, and what I'm referring to is Digimon. Digital Monsters. So I mean, like I know a lot of people out there who are massive Pokemon fans. They love Pokemon to death. Be like, it's still going day. Be like, their cards are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I get that.
Pokemon's getting an Aardman show now.
Say what?
Aardman Studios
getting an
is
Aardman
making
show,
a Pokemon show.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Didn't know that.
It's called
Interesting.
It's called The Misadventures of Sirfetch'd and Pichu.
It looks cool.
Interesting. So
Anyway, back to Digimon.
yeah. So where I'm going with this, be like, I know a lot of people love like Pokemon. Be like, personally, I like Pokemon. Digimon personally is because Digimon is actually superior to Pokemon when it comes to story, to characters, to everything. I know people can fight me all day with this.
disagree.
Oh yeah, because like our main character can't win a match for at least 20 years.
it's like 1 year in universe, but whatever.
Whatever. But I find that very funny. Yes, exactly. That's a great. I still haven't seen. We need to review it.
We do need to re-review Digimon the movie.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Is that Discotech?
Yes.
Yeah, it is Discotech.
It's got all three of the original ones and the 4 kids edited together
And
version. Saban edited together version.
It's a redub of those films.
I mean, it's got the original in here too.
Yes,
Just minus the Anaconda garbage.
Yeah, my gosh. But yeah, so where I'm going with this was Digimon be like its third iteration, which is Digimon Tamers.
Oh,
so
that
yeah,
makes
so
sense.
Tamers, I love the death because it's done very well. oh crap,
It's where the humans become Digimon.
yes, that's where I'm going.
Oh.
So be like you have this great moment because it'll be like the Digimon, like their human partners and the Digimon have to bond to each other because they really can't Digivolve without each other. So you have this one point where our main villain is taking over the world, and so our heroes and their Digimon have to go into the digital world, and then you get the onset of biomerge digivolution, which is basically it biomerges a human and a Digimon together to create one being into a Digimon. And I'm like, okay, that's creative because this story kind of.
I just realized I had it wrong. You're talking about the 3rd season, aren't you?
Yes, I'm talking third season.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking 4th season.
Oh,
Where
Frontier.
Frontier, where they actually turn into Digimon.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
No, but like with this series, Tamers, because Tamers, if you've never seen Tamers, be like, is a fantastic story. Steve Bloom, be like, he directs it, he writes it, be like, he does voices for it. He played oh come on. He played one of the main characters, be like, he was great in the show, but this is a very dark show. It's like the fact to be like our main characters have to fuse with their Digimon in order to save the day. And like the way the show ends is incredible. But the fact to be like, you have our main characters who are kids has to risk their life and become Digimon themselves in order to save the world. I find the storytelling amazing.
Is there a specific character, or are you just like all of them?
Well, I think this is the overall. I love there are parts of the show. It's like, okay, you're dragging the story a little bit.
Likes all the Digimon and Digimon 3.
All of them.
Okay, I'm asking because I'm like, I'm gonna have to find an illustration.
Well, to lay the point, be like, we're talking our 3 main characters, 3 main characters and their Digimon partners.
Hey, I believe this friend is one of y'all's. Is this one of your friends?
I don't recognize him.
Don't recognize the title.
History
I
of
recognize. I recognize his avatar and I recognize the characters he's talking about.
Well, History of Terra, welcome in. Let me just say, welcome to the Summit Squad. So, History of Terra, just really quick. These are some really cool picks, but we have some novice and some professional podcasters on this subject. It seems like you know quite a bit. And so we're kind of just ranking what our favorites are in this world. And we're actually in the 3rd round. So welcome on in, and thank you for sharing yours. That's amazing.
Well, can I respond to his comment real quick?
Sure.
Okay. So first off, if it's the Moonlight Mask I'm thinking of, it's debatable if he's a Henshin hero because his stuff was made back in the 50s, and all that would happen is that his secret identity would go off scene, and then he would come back and he's in costume. We don't know if he actually transforms or not. Also, he says Ultraman is a Kyodai. He's a Kyodai and a Henshin hero, sir. Because a Kyodai means giant hero, because Ultramen are giants because they have to fight kaiju. So he's both. Now, if you want an example of someone who is not Henshin but a Kyodai hero, Jet Jaguar from Godzilla movies. Closest he does is he gets big. That's it. But he does not transform. So there you go. I'm done.
There you go.
And there it is. History of Terra, you are welcome here. We appreciate you being here. Thanks for sharing your topic. Follow along because we've got some more controversial things coming right your way. So,
the Digimon that Jacob was talking about was Guilmon.
Yeah, Guilmon. Be like the first the first 3 are our main characters and their Digimon. I love the like how they form their bonds. Like definitely Riku, like Rika and her Digimon. Be like that storytelling is amazing. So it'd be like they took I think it was like one of the designer, like one of the writers was one of the people who helped with Neon Genesis Evangelion.
That's obvious.
Hideaki Anno.
Yeah, it wasn't Akiano. It was like one of the
Shinji Iguchi.
I'm not sure. You have to look it up. Okay. But like there is links to it, and it's like it makes sense because how dark this series is. And I love the storytelling and I love the characters. And it was one of those things. It's like I'm looking at because I thought of Frontier. That was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, wait a minute, what about Tamers? And Tamers is one of those fantastic series. And I'm hoping some that be like they've done 2 movies over it. And yeah, I'm hoping that they will do something like they've done with Digimon Adventure Kaiser. And they're doing a season 2, and they might do a season 3 later on. But yeah, I absolutely love Digimon Tamers and the fact to be like you have Biomerge in there. And it's just it's one of those, I could not leave that out because they're my goofy Digimon loving heart. I couldn't leave it out. So it's there.
Yeah, I just like don't know what it is about all the people who just love Pokemon. You know, it's like it's just crazy that they would.
That is fair.
Throw it in your face. You know, like we don't have.
That is fair.
I got a little guy right here.
Hang on.
No, I joke with you because Jacob, I think one of the last times you were on the show, we've had this debate and talk.
Yes,
about
we did. Yes, we did.
Pokemon versus Digimon, and we all know Pokemon's better.
Somewhere.
I will say this.
Oh, Digimon
Andy,
totally counts.
I will tell Andy, I will give you this.
Well, I can't find any of them right now.
Yeah, okay. All right. But Andy, I will say this, and I'm sorry, Jacob.
Boy, this is violent.
Pokemon Evolution makes way more sense than Digimon Evolution.
Okay, that's fair.
I will say
Digimon Evolution is so confusing to me because I'm like, you're just making this up as you go, aren't you?
Pikachu in there somewhere.
I agree. Be like, and I think it's healthy to have arguments over things that are goofy and silly like this. Be like, it's which franchise is better. I think it's good and it's healthy to have conversations about this and be like, I can love Digimon to death and be like, someone can be like, no, Pokemon's better. That is your opinion. You have the right to do that. Be like, I may not fully agree with you, but be like, it's fun banter. It's fun conversation about something silly.
Oh, trust me, Kirk and I have plenty of banter back and forth. So
yeah,
I will point out on the Cel Cast, Digimon is technically beating Pokemon in the number of movies shown so far.
Just a little.
I will say this: Pokemon names are more clever. Some Digimon names are like
I do agree. I do agree with that. I do agree.
You mean spelling Cobra backwards to get Arbok?
Listen,
or Seal.
The Digimon names are like the Mega Man character
or Eakins.
Man.
Mega Man, sir. You were talking to a Mega fan.
No, I'm just saying that I love Mega Man, but don't tell me that they were clever with the naming of their villains. They just were. I mean, like they didn't put any thought.
How dare you? How dare you besmirch the Capcom Aquaman?
Let me just say, in terms of Pokemon, Gray Ninja for life.
Gray Ninja for life.
That's my favorite. So,
yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
there we go.
All right. Well, hey, look, let me jump in. So, I have been on a show talking about favorite anime of all time. We actually talked about our favorite cartoons of all time in year 1 with our good buddy Jason Nupp. He will be on the show at the end. There's a shameless plug for you. He will be on the show at the end of the month, along with Colin from Canada, and they're going to be doing Retro TV Dads. That's going to be a fun one. But on that one, I had my next pick. I had my next pick on that for number 2, I believe, Andy, which is probably giving away what I'm about to say. But to my panel, and Nathan, you have not been on the show. I usually start at Google, then go to ChatGPT, and then now I've flipped it because ChatGPT has now become my Google for everything. But I said, hey, tell me all the Henshin heroes that you can think of within this to this that match things like this and this. And then I put this one in, and they go, that doesn't really fit. And I was like, baloney, that don't fit. And I said, tell me why it does fit. And so he told me why it fit. And so the reason I didn't pick Sonic, I said, tell me some video game Henshin heroes. And Sonic wasn't on the list. And I was listening to the old mighty ChatGPT. Now, it's just not on my list because I completely forgot about it. But here it is. By ChatGPT's criteria, here are some of the things that a Henshin hero should have. It should have a visual transformation sequence. Well, it's got that. It should have a normal form and a powered form. It's got both of those. It needs an item to transform sometimes. It's got that. Transformation, powers activate. Got that. Requires activation phrase. Definitely has that.
Some of those
I'm
don't
going
always
with
apply.
Voltron, the original Power Rangers. They're better. And Voltron is my guy. It's got all of what I just said. And he said it's not really Henshin Hero, but now he's saying it does because it has all those 7 facts. I told you it was going to be controversial, but this is the major. This is way better than Power Rangers. It's way better than all the heroes. This is my childhood. This is what I came home from school every day to watch Voltron take on the Row Beasts on a daily basis. Had all the cartoon. I had all the toys. I wish I still had the toys now. Had the remote control. Had all. But this is about as close as I get to anime. When I was on Dallas' show and he asked about anime, I was like, I went from Voltron and then I'll pick the rest. But I knew I was going to have this on the list. Didn't know how I was going to force it in. But yeah, it's a Henshin for me. And that's what I'm going to go with, even though it's a robot and they don't really transform. But it works for me. Voltron.
Oh, Voltron.
He's here.
There he is.
In Lego form, but
Drew just transformed. Hey, Drew, you're a Henshin.
Bet you didn't know.
Well, my George is
5
good.
cats in 1. That explains a lot.
I was going to say, when he gave it, Kirk gave that such high praise, but it's not his George.
No,
Yeah.
it's
And
not.
I lost a tail. Hang on.
It's not.
I'm sorry. It's a
No,
leg.
I would.
It wasn't
gonna
even
be
in
honest.
Georgia cartoons. It is my second in cartoons. It was my late
Okay.
in cartoons as well.
Actually, I'm not
Okay,
sure where
I was
this
just
It
goes.
was my
say,
Georgian anime, though. It was my
Right.
Georgian anime.
I was going to say, Kirk, I think I am going to have to disagree with you on that, but Voltron is very, because of all the similarities to Super Sentai and Power Rangers, at least when it comes to the robots, definitely very adjacent, I would say. But I don't know if I would say it's a combiner for sure, but it's a combining robot, so it transforms in that regard, but I don't know if I would count it personally.
Good thing
Well,
you're
good
not
thing
the
it's
one
not your
counting it.
criteria.
Exactly.
I know.
But the real question
Did you have this one on your list for me?
I mean, I don't know if I considered it Henshin, but I'm cool with it. It's fine. It's not what I was thinking when I was thinking that stuff, but obviously my thinking has changed tonight. So
Yeah, it has. Daniel, so loved watching Voltron Force, got canceled, but it was a weird. Hey, Speed Racer was on my anime as well.
He's talking about a later Speed Racer though.
Yeah, but I was talking about the MTV one from the 80s, the one that was from the early times that was in syndication on the MTV. Daniel is my Black Line Pilot. I missed this. D Zool 9, is that one of your guys? But he says Ultraman, question mark.
Not one of
Yeah,
ours.
I think he was saying that in response to the buildup you were doing. I think that's when I saw the comment pop up.
I knew. And then again, if you were here just a few minutes ago, you'd know that I have no, except for playing this video game I just did a few minutes ago. Ultraman is very distant thing for me. I know what he is, but I didn't know. But I have a affinity of Voltron. So, anyways, I knew it'd be controversial. And Andy, you're up.
Yeah.
Keep the controversy going.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm not controversial at all. This is actually probably.
Wait, is this the one you?
I don't think any 4 of my picks. This was going to be my George until I get a little bit more confidence and I felt more reassured about some other picks. So this was going to be my George. I don't think this is going to come as a surprise to Kirk. It's Morphin time, but picking a character, I'm going Zach Taylor, the Black Ranger. He was my go-to because, listen, of all
Practitioner of hip hop Aikido.
Yeah,
Hip hop keto. And according to author Sean Pryor, who I interviewed on my podcast a few weeks ago, author of Kaiju Unleashed, he is the greatest black superhero.
Well, I'm here for it. But look, Zach Taylor, man, when I was playing the games, when I was watching the show, I wanted to be the Mastodon. That was the coolest thing you could transform into. Also, as a kid growing up in the 90s and 2000s, being an emo and metal kid, black was the only color that I had in my wardrobe. So he felt very cool to be that guy. And he just was the cool guy. I know everybody kind of went to the White Ranger, you know, some of those things. I was always a Zach Taylor guy. If I was playing, again, the game on the Super Nintendo, that game, whatever game it was. Anyway, that was always the character I'm picking. I loved it. I'm going Zach Taylor. It's Morphin time. It's not, I mean, it's one of the least controversial picks today. This is obviously in that, you know, from a transformation side of things. But yeah, I'm going Zach Taylor, the Black Ranger.
So you took your George, you brought him down one, which means that the link is the one that disappeared, which is interesting.
Well, I shifted a lot of things around. The only thing that stayed on my list was Servo and Zach Taylor.
Go figure.
Yeah, Servo was there from the beginning.
So, I mean, I think we can all agree. This is the song I used. I knew it was going to come up today. I'm not a Power Rangers guy, but I do own the Power Rangers card action figures. I talked about it when I worked at KB Toys. When this came out and all the crazy moms were shaking the thing in the mall, let us in, let us in. I opened all the boxes and I was like, oh yeah, I better buy these 5. They're going to be worth something one day. And they are worth something. They're not worth what I imagined they would have been by the craze. But I have all 5 of the originals that I purchased before they even released, still in box, still whatever. I know they all go for about $200 now. I figured they'd be buying me a house by now, but it didn't work out for me that way. But I'm not a Power Rangers guy because 1, I was a Voltron guy, and 2, this was my like high school chasing girls time where, you know, I was kind of trying to avoid getting out of that. So I never really, all these stuff in the mid 90s was not stuff I was watching like that, but I appreciate it. I so appreciate it. I so love it. Just like Pokemon, I applaud these kind of fandoms because I have my own hanging out in other places. And I'm not going to hate on anybody for it. So great pick. Knew it was going to be here. I used it for the music on purpose. So you guys can chat about it, but I'm sure we're going to chat about it again eventually, sooner or later. I'm sure.
There's a good chance.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good chance.
Zach Taylor is, he's
Zach Taylor, is that the name of the Bengals coach? Is that his name?
No, I don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know the Bengals.
You.
I don't think it's the same guy.
Absolutely his name, but it's Zach without a K.
Okay.
Very deep, good pull.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're pulling. They should do something with that. They should have like the Bengals in Mastodon uniforms or something. That'd be
Well,
great.
they
actually might win,
Or at least saber-toothed tigers.
Yeah,
that is
the,
true.
the college I went to for my master's degree, Purdue Fort Wayne, their nickname is Mastodons.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but Andy, I was going to ask you a quick question. Have you seen Power Rangers Once and Always?
No, I mean I watched Mighty Morphin.
You need to.
You need to watch Once and Always. Zach is basically is one of the main characters.
It's the MMPR reunion show basically.
It really is.
It is really good.
And they bring back both Billy and Zach, and they do some great stuff with them.
Okay.
If you're a Zach Taylor fan, if you are a Zach Taylor fan, you will love it.
Zach's one of the main characters of that story.
It's on Netflix.
At one of our first conventions, we hung out with Austin, and although most people don't like him anymore, but he gave us his top 4 enemies he ever fought in the show. That was a fun show.
Oh, that's fun.
Were any of them voiced by Bryan Cranston?
I got a little excited for a second because I played one of those Power Ranger villains, but I didn't. But he didn't fight Jason, so I wouldn't have been on his list. No.
So I can tell you 2 of them were because they were hot, is what he said.
Okay, one Scorpina.
One Scorpina.
Scorpina and Rita. And
okay. Okay.
He also said
Outside
the
of the
bunnies and
I can imagine.
and Goldar, right? He said Goldar?
Goldar, yeah.
Goldar. Yeah.
He said Goldar, the putties. Without the putties, it wouldn't even be a show. And they're underrated. And then the 2 hot chicks.
Yeah, I would have gone with definitely Scorpina, but Lord Zed. Lord Zed was the coolest looking villain for me.
Jace,
Design wise,
yeah.
Let me ask you,
Ivan
Andy.
Ooze. Ivan Ooze.
Let me. Then I got to ask you, Andy. Do you remember? Do you remember Rita's brother?
I gotta. I'm having to go back in the tank.
It's third season
It's third season. Yeah, third season, and
when they had the ninja
Yeah.
powers.
Okay. No,
He was
I
a
mean-
If that doesn't
skeleton.
help you, then no, you don't remember
he
him.
was a skeleton.
There's a
Rito
reason that-
Revolto?
There's a reason Nathan
Yeah,
can do a
I'm
good
Rito
Skeletor.
in an audio drama.
Yeah. Squat was
Nice.
cool looking too. But anyway, yep. All right.
All right.
That's we're to the George. We're to the
We're to
number
the George. Only 2 hours in. We're there.
I bet we last Tuesday was 3 hours. We're gonna beat that. So
All right.
I don't know. We still got Benjamins coming up. So
Nathan. Well, the Benjamins go fast because we don't do this, but we
Right.
can a little bit. Nathan, what's your George? The main one.
I have to get a little bit serious here. This is not only nostalgic, he was the face of his franchise. And I think if most of us who are, of a particular age, I'm thinking primarily of millennials and maybe some younger Zoomers as well, because he was around for a while. This is the hero who got people into Henshin Heroes and tokusatsu. And if you ever met him in real life, as I have, he was a tremendous person in real life. I'm not gonna get crazy about this. For some people, he's overrated. He's overplayed. I get it. But without him, there wouldn't be a lot of this. Tommy Oliver.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the picture up too. Yeah, in case anyone
sorry.
cares.
Let's throw that up there.
Yeah. Tommy Oliver, played by Jason David Frank, who also, I just want to throw this out there, was a believer, I might add. And yeah, he was the most prolific actor on Power Rangers. He was incredibly popular. He had, I picked this picture specifically because it shows off the many costumes that he wore during his time on Power Rangers. He was in the first about 4.5 seasons. He was in the 2 original movies, and then he came back as an older mentor figure for some younger Rangers in Power Rangers Dino Thunder. And they did some cool stuff with him. He came back for several anniversary specials, and we lost him 3 years ago in the most tragic way possible. And it was hard. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little hard. I had the privilege of meeting JDF, only like 8 months before he died at a convention. I am actually wearing I'm going to see if I can show this on camera. He was promoting the Legend of the White Dragon, which supposedly is done, but that's a whole to-do unto itself. It's a movie he was working on. He died while it was in post-production. So he was there promoting that and doing the usual meet and greet, autograph signing sort of stuff for his fans. He stayed there extra long, even skipped out on his interview panel because he wanted to make sure everybody got to meet him and got an autograph. And he was giving these, it's just a cheap little dog tag. All right. One side's the Green Ranger. One side is the White Dragon, his character from that movie. This thing probably cost, I don't know, a couple of dollars at the most to get. He was just giving these out for free. I cherish this thing because I got this from him, and it was a wonderful experience. One of the best celebrity meetup experiences I've ever had. And then 8 months later, he was gone. And I kicked myself because he was at another convention that in the same city, Indianapolis. I swear it was a week before he died, and I didn't go see him again. So, yeah. So I will admit there's some sentimental attachment to that. I thought Tommy was cool when I was a kid. If you twist my arm, I would probably tell you he's not my number one favorite Power Ranger, but I can't deny the impact that he's had on people both on and off screen. And like I said, he was a fellow believer, and just the way he conducted himself with his fans was incredible. A lot of just so much gratitude for their appreciation for what he did, and just the impact that he has had on people's lives, not only getting them into Super Sentai, Ultraman, Tokusatsu, all of that. Because Power Rangers, especially with Tommy, was people's gateway drug to all of this. And Power Rangers was technically mine. I discovered Power Rangers before I did Godzilla. But I didn't get as into Power Rangers as some of my friends did. But then I did the Power Trip a few years ago with my friend Michael Hamilton. It was an entire podcast where we went through the entire franchise, and I gained a greater appreciation for Tommy Oliver and for the franchise as a whole. So I have to make him my George.
Solid pick. I mean, Tommy, yeah. I do like the White Ranger suit. That's a pretty sweet one. Partially because when the Saints wear their Color Rush all white uniform, it very much resembles that. So I'm a fan of that. But that's a kind of a joke. But for real, this is a good pick. Absolutely. This is what I think when most people would go to is there.
It feels like a bit of an obvious pick, and I realize that, but
it's okay.
There's just too much significance.
Yeah.
To leave him off.
Hey, so just want to share. We actually joke and have fun and stuff on the show all the time, and not to get real super serious, but suicide's a real thing, and I've dealt with people that have dealt with that. And I know sometimes YouTube gets crazy when you even say that word, so they say unaliving yourself. Mm-hmm. And here's the deal: at the end of the day, I've had friends do this and be a part of this, seeing really amazing actors out there do this. Robin Williams comes to mind as probably maybe the George of actors for me. And I just want to say, if you're out there, if somebody's out there, and because I've had these feelings before finding Christ, and then there's times in the world that I'm like, it's just a really dark time. It's like, maybe so. I could tell you, if I wouldn't have my kids and my wife, people like Andy in my life, it was a dark time about 10 years ago. This could be me. It really could have been. And more so at about 12 years ago. I'm 14 years sober now. So anytime between 12 and probably 15 years ago, if you're out there and this is something that you're dealing with, I'm not a doctor, but I sure am a very good listener. And if you want to chat, ever, listen, hit us up on all these social medias. It's way more important. You're welcome to blow my phone up. If you're that kind of guy and you need to talk, I'll give you my phone number. It's like that. And it's just that. I'm not a Power Rangers guy, but I know how much love he had, especially when this happened. And I know quite a bit about the story and kind of followed it because I just get interested in those things. Like why, like Chester Bennington, right? Why?
Yeah.
Like what, really? Like you had everything, but you didn't.
The why and the how.
You did. And especially when it's a believer too, when you find that out, we all fall short. And so that's all I got to say about that. And I appreciate the pick, but I just wanted to share that with the community and anybody that might ever listen to this in the future. If this is something you deal with, hit me up, man.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah. It's interesting that even one of the things that blew my mind is because as I said, Power Rangers is based on a Japanese TV show. They take the superhero footage and make new scenes, with American actors. Yeah, he's talking about Aaron Chunky, who's the director of Legend of the White Dragon. That's a whole to do. I don't really want to get into that controversy because that's just ridiculous. But I saw a video. I think it was it was a short video. I don't know if it was from TikTok originally or whatever, but it was the actor who played his counterpart character, completely different character, in Zyuranger, and he did a tribute video to JDF because he's like, you played the Green Ranger in America and I was the Green Ranger in Japan, and he did a video for him. And what's really strange is there is an episode of Zyuranger that they use some of the footage from it in Power Rangers, but they didn't use all of it, and that is because in Zyuranger, the Green Ranger, spoiler warning, he actually dies during the show. Whereas in Power Rangers, they just had Tommy lose his powers. There are scenes where the Dragon Zord, who in Zyuranger is called Dragon Caesar, he mourns the death of the Green Ranger because the Green Ranger was his best friend. I know it's a completely different show and a completely different character, but it hit differently when I watched that show not long after JDF died.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And in other hand, some people would look at that as like, this is silly and corny, but I'm like, I am Dragon Caesar right now.
Yeah.
I am in mourning. My best friend is gone. I'm metaphorically speaking. But
yeah.
I wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. It'd be like I went to a con in Houston over a decade ago. My cousin was insisting they'd be like, "Oh, you need to come with us. You need to come with us." And JDF was there, and be like, I bumped into him very briefly. Very nice man. And the fact to be like, the suicide is terrible. Be like, I had a classmate who lost his life to that. Said I have a brother who tried to commit suicide when he was younger. And just think about that breaks my heart. And where would my life be if the Lord had taken him that soon? But there's I always say in the show whenever this subject gets breached, it's like you're not alone. You're not alone. Be like there's a lot of it where be like I feel alone and like no one cares, but people do care. Be like you just have to look beyond your own sadness and look at the what's going on. And sometimes you can't. And sometimes you're so consumed by it. But it's just again, be like you are not alone.
Yeah,
even the greatest Christians in the world battled with depression and battled with this, and they have thought about taking their own lives. But they're going to be like you are not alone. So if you're dealing with those demons, you're dealing with those tormented thoughts. Be like, reach out, talk to somebody.
Yeah,
be like, and again, you are not alone.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get this train back on the tracks.
Yes.
Well,
Drew. Unless we're Rushmore and going right back in it.
Well,
we're Rushmore.
We're Rushmore and going back into it. That's kind of why I stay quiet during most of that.
That's why I was hovering over the button.
I don't want to stay in the sad part of this too much longer. But yeah, if it weren't for JDF playing Tommy Oliver, I would not have gotten into Power Rangers, because when I first saw that first episode, literally it was the first 5 episodes of Power Rangers I ever watched.
Green with Evil,
5-episode miniseries.
Yeah,
and that got me hooked. And then he went on to play the Mighty Morphin White and Zeo Red, Turbo Red, and then eventually Dino Thunder Black. it was just always, to me, he was the face of Power Rangers. Don't get me wrong, I like a lot of the other characters too. And yeah, Walter Jones is a very good pick, Andy, for your favorite Ranger. Don't get me wrong. But JDF, as Tommy, was, to me, the show for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, Tommy has had so many Ranger forms. He's an entire team unto himself. With some time travel shenanigans, he's an entire Ranger team.
In a later season, when they did one where they brought different Rangers back from different time periods, I don't remember which one this is. They gave him his own morpher that would let him switch between all his different.
That was the Master Morpher. It was Dimensions in Danger on Power Rangers Ninja Steel. That was the last time
he was on the show.
Yeah,
he was on the show. That is a mediocre season. I wouldn't even call Dimensions in Danger the best crossover that they've done or the best anniversary episode that they've done. But now it is retroactively elevated because that was the last time he was in Power Rangers.
Yeah.
But and I'm going to tell you, as soon as tickets become available for Legend of the White Dragon, assuming it goes to theaters, no reason to think it won't, I'm going to be there and I'm going to go watch it because he's my guy.
Yeah,
but and I know it's a different character, but still, it's still JDF.
It was
Tommy
actually
Oliver
based
is
on a
my George of Henshin Heroes. Yeah. No matter how you get it, because he's. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have gotten into any of it. I wouldn't be gotten interested in tokusatsu probably at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of probably one of the staples. When I was trying to figure out what was going to happen tonight, I knew Power Rangers, and then I was like, okay, so they're going to pick one of them, and it's going to be Tommy. And I knew Andy wasn't going to pick Tommy because I knew we've talked, right? And he's always talking about the Black Ranger. But that's why when I said it earlier, I was like, we're probably going to talk a little bit about this again. But yeah, man, good picks. I didn't have this Ranger. I didn't purchase this one because in the original he came with the Dragon Zord or the Tiger or whatever.
Tiger Zord was later.
It wasn't out yet when I purchased. Like KB Toys did not have it. If they would have had it at the time, I would have purchased it too. So I did not purchase this, and it would still be unopened. Whatever, that would be really cool, but I didn't purchase it. So Jacob, what are we doing?
All right, so be like, I am going to step away from Power Rangers, even though be like the briefest moments when it comes to Power Rangers. Power Rangers was one of those series that came on in the morning. We would have to go to the bus. My parents didn't let us watch it at first, but we went on watching like Green with Evil is probably one of the best things that came out of that. With Tommy Oliver and all that great storytelling, and be like, yeah, I do appreciate that what GDF for the franchise was phenomenal. Be like, you have to give mad props to what they did with the character and what they did with his character going forward. So going into my final pick. So it's kind of a nostalgia what I did for He-Man going back to the 80s, with Thundercats. And so with mine, we're going forward in the 2000s, 2011, with 2011's Thundercats. And I absolutely like to a little backstory with this.
I'm trying to remember who transforms in this.
Oh, I'll tell you in a second.
I know.
Oh, wait.
I know.
Wait.
What?
Go.
Keep going.
No,
Okay.
My brain is shorting out while processing.
Okay, so they've completely rebooted the way they wrote Thundercats 2011. It is so lore heavy. So you get a point where it's like mid part of the season, and they're talking about power stones and what is the deal with Lion-O's gauntlet. Be like his sword sleeve is a short sword sleeve. It's a hard word to say.
Gee.
So be like there's a flashback where Lion-O gets a flashback to the past where his ancestor Leo he was rebelling against Mumrod. He freed his people, and they learned about the secret of the Sword of Omens and what the claw shield meant, and these power stones and what they could do. And there's a moment where Lion-O learns that if you combine these stones together on his claw shield, it will create armor, what they call the armor of the armor of omens. Be like, if you go and find this on YouTube, be like, you can go watch it now. Be like, see, the series is still available. Be like, heck, it's right there behind me. Because again, I'm a Thundercats fan. I grew up watching Thundercats. So when this show came out, I literally told my entire family, we are watching this. I don't care. And so when this came up, the fact be like, oh, there's a transformation scene in Thundercats where it turns into a armored hero, and I was like, oh heck yes, this is my top. Has to be, because be like, if you don't believe me, go look it up. Be
it's
like,
absolute gold pick. This is the very first Benjamin off my list. It's gold pick.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like the storytelling was so good, and I was so disappointed they canned the series because the toys weren't selling well. Like with
And
most
actually,
series,
Mumra is also a henshin.
yes, he is. Yes, it'd be like, if you look at that strict definition, he is. Be like, I thought it was,
for those who need an illustration, I have one.
Thank you. Yep, that's it. He takes all 5 power stones, kind of like the Infinity Stone, and he becomes this character. A virtually unstoppable character who can take out Mumra.
Yeah,
I know we watched this because
we
reviewed this whole series.
We did.
And this form is like gone. I don't remember it at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had kind of forgotten about it too, and I also love Thundercats. That was my favorite childhood cartoon, and I only saw one episode of that reboot. Liked it, but never got around to the rest of it. Then I got around to the rest of it. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. It might even be better than the original show. Why did they cut it short? I was angry. I was angry a decade and a half after the fact. I'm like, I want my season 2.
And why does Thundercats Roar exist?
Oh gosh,
we don't talk about Thundercats.
We don't talk about Roar. But again, different generation. I guarantee there's some kid out there. It's like, oh my gosh, Thundercats Roar was the best. But
he is a poor deprived child.
Go watch the anime.
But yeah, just like this particular series of Thundercats 2011, especially the transformation of the, what do they call it? The armor of omens. Armor of omens. And I was like, oh my gosh, we get a little glimpse of it. He gets, I think it's like the tech stone, and it transforms his entire arm into a gauntlet. I'm like, if they would have kept going, we would have got the entire thing and let this amazing. This show ends on a cliffhanger, and it's like, oh my gosh, why? And it broke me when I learned that. But it's just more like it's like that has to be it. That has to be it. The fact to be like they use a transformation sequence in order to like catapult the story forward, which the storytelling is incredible if you haven't seen it yet.
I know he wasn't involved, but this feels like it deserves a scream of Zaslav!
Because it's owned by Warner Brothers.
Except in this case, it's more like toy sales.
Yes,
Bandai, or whoever made the
it was
toys.
Bandai. It was Bandai who did it. But
the Bandai mandates couldn't save it. Dang.
No, couldn't. And this, like the ratings for the show was good. Like this was a good show. It had good ratings, but the toy sales weren't doing well, so they canned it because everything is tied in with the toy sales. Everything.
Yeah. I know these are glorified toy commercials. But
they are.
Still.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Thundercats. I remember.
Oh!
I don't remember anything about the 2011 one, but
Yeah.
I do remember my uncle I was talking about earlier had the toys of the old school ones, and I used to play
That
those.
Panthro was legit.
Yeah, I had that was
All right, well, I'm up, huh?
Yeah, it's you.
Hey,
It's
so
you.
I told you I like superheroes. I'm going with my favorite superhero. Andy, we've done this before. We've done Marvel. Pretty sure he was my George. He was at least on my mountain. But yeah, you guys went Green Ranger. I'm going with the big green guy. I'm going with the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk. Yeah, that's a great choice.
So
You won't
guys
like him when he's
turning
angry.
red. Turning red basically said, "Yeah, I'm going to take that kind of trope." But Hulk's always been my favorite. He's Hulk smash. He doesn't really have like a thing that he shouts to turn, but he basically, you don't like him when he's angry, right? And he started out gray, went green, and we love him. And I'm ready every time he's on screen, especially this new portion of him with Garofalo. I love the Hulk. So my pick, bar none, is the Incredible Hulk. And every iteration, to be honest, I just love. I will say this. If I was to be a Henshin hero, like me personally, something that I changed in my life, transformed, was, and one of the reasons we were kind of not going back into what we were talking about with Green Ranger is I had to get the anger out of my life. And I feel very connected to this character and how you can just go rage on things. And sometimes I wish I could jump to space. And so there you go. My character is Hulk, man. Bruce Banner.
That is a great pick. I thought about throwing because I think picks like that. We've had some very unlikely picks here tonight, but I do think there are certain American superheroes like the Hulk who qualify. The fact that ChatGPT is telling you, they have to have a transformation command and they have to have a device.
I was kind of joking about that.
Yeah, I was going to say those are not all required. All that's required is the civilian hero. They can. I like how Drew added, and you can go back. And Bruce Banner as the Hulk definitely qualifies. I want to say, I want to watch more of the show, even though I know it's very formulaic, but that original 70s Hulk TV show absolutely inspired casting with Bill Bixby and especially Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. That he embodied that character.
I'm still not happy that Lou Ferrigno quit voicing the Hulk in Ragnarok. Still not happy about that.
Andy,
he did voice the Hulk in the 90s.
Yeah, and in the pretty much every movie up until Ragnarok where Hulk showed up.
Cajun Con is coming in December, Andy, and Lou Ferrigno is supposed to be there.
Yeah. So hopefully we can go there and we can hang out.
It's cool to have him Hulk out and give us a little promo. Andy, who's your George?
Speaking of Hulk, R.I.P. Different Hulk.
There he is.
Different
and,
Hulk. Although, but funny enough, Marvel Comics tried to sue him.
You guys, I did this on purpose. My two superheroes was Ozzy and Hulk. I was throwing it in there, man. I forgot.
All right.
But now if Lou Ferrigno dies in 2 weeks, we're blaming you.
Yeah.
We might have to cancel the show at that point.
I mean, when Lou Ferrigno dies, I'm going to, no matter how long it is, blame it on y'all.
It could be 20 years from now.
Hey, remember 12 years ago when you guys mentioned
we were all on a show called Culture Box, and we were talking about Henshin Heroes on your Rushmore show, and y'all mentioned Lou Ferrigno, and he died 20 years later. It's your fault.
Let's go look at the status of Lou Ferrigno. Andy, you're up. George.
All right. Well, the final one was the guy added last minute. And you know what? If you can use Voltron, I can use this one. So there may be some controversy here, but I will say there is no debating. There is no debating that this character is one way, has a transformation of sorts, inherits new powers, and can then actually go back to. So I think this fits right in, and he's one of the greatest characters of all time. I'm in the video game realm again. Wahoo! I'm going Mario.
Mario. That is my first Benjamin off the list.
I know Mario. I mean, here we go. The mushroom, first of all, the fire flower, Tanuki suit, the cape feather, the cap, metal cap. I mean, all that's and he transforms. He changes the look. Everything changes. Powers are added. and then if you just happen to get hit or whatever, then you run out of it, right? So the star, I mean, I'm doing, you know, in multiple games. I was just actually last night at youth group. I had my N64 hooked up at youth, and I was playing Mario. I was playing Mario Kart 64 with the kids at youth and destroying them. But I mean, the power-ups that happen there, everything. Yeah, I'm going to go with Mario. He's the guy that the new George, the guy that I have to add in there. When I thought about all my characters that I'm listing, I'm like, I mean, he's just my favorite of all of them. So I'm going Mario. I'm going for the plumber man.
I added him on my Benjamins on the drive home. And I was like, yes, I'm doing that. Dude,
you know,
I thought we might crush more on that one.
Andy,
you know,
my son and I were talking, and he goes, well, Dad, what about Mario? That sounds like Mario. And I was like, I didn't even think of Mario. And I was like, dang.
You know, the way you were talking about, like, you know, you keep the power up until you get hit or whatever, you know, it's like, actually, it's legitimate. I mean, like, the original Ultraman could only be Ultraman for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
what time limit?
This just shows the wide range of what Henshin is, and this is what I've discovered tonight, and I love it. I love it. Mario was added literally after you said underdog. Underdog gave me Mario.
You're welcome.
That's never been a sentence, but that's now underdog in history.
Because we know Luigi is the underdog.
Well, in an event to keep this from going 4 hours, because we are going to push this 3 hour mark again, let's get into our Benjamins. All about the Benjamins. Let's play it. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to let you know, Nathan, you haven't been on the show in a while, and you know, we like to talk, and especially when we're pastors and we're podcasters. But the basis of this portion isn't to explain it like we did before. It's basically just to get another one out there and kind of just like, this is the one reason why. So here's the deal. Can't mention Mario anymore. Can't mention Hulk, not Spider-Man, Iron Man, or any of those. All the commons, the Power Rangers, they're all gone. Now you can mention other Power Rangers, I guess, if you'd like. But who is so by the way, Benjamin Franklin, the internet says so, was apparently going to be the 5th guy on the mountain. He just missed the mountain. So he's our honorable mention. We call him Benjamins. So who's the first Benjamin on there? It's the same order than the first round, but then it goes backwards in the second, third, fourth. So you get first pick and last pick. Nathan, you're up.
I got to throw this in here for my friend Bex and for Artsy Steph. This is a wonderful subgenre of the Henshin hero, Sailor Moon. I've got
Sailor Moon was on my list. Oh, by the way, Luke Ferrigno is in great health at 73. If he passes away, you definitely can blame us.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, and I do have. Like I said, I have pictures for all of them. So yes, Sailor Moon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's Sailor Moon. Actually, Sailor Moon is
well.
Yep, Sailor Moon was actually inspired by Super Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Partially,
they took the Super Sentai tropes and then put it on a manga that was popular at the time, and the Toei studios just said, "Hey, can you make this more like Super Sentai?"
The magical girl genre existed before Sailor Moon, just in an entirely different form.
Yeah, entirely different form. And then when I was first exposed to Sailor Moon, when it was coming to the US in the 90s, it was described as all-girl Power Rangers. I only saw one episode of it, but then when I actually watched it, you know, just like last year, I'm like, good God, it really is just all-girl Power Rangers.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, tropes.
It is.
It really is.
All right,
a Donkey Kong Bonanza. I did it wrong. I can't do it. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. That's why.
Wrong button.
Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong Bonanza is a Henshin hero.
He transforms.
I
go back, so I'm counting it.
Nice.
Wow,
dude, that jumped on your
showing off one of my new play pretties.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
I don't have that play pretties. Anyways, so that's new to me. I didn't know that Donkey Kong did that. So good pick.
Nice.
Well, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Hopefully that brings a different algorithm
The
out.
Mario and Donkey Kong are
There it
Henshin
is.
Heroes. That is what we have established in this.
We have established.
And technically, Donkey Kong did use a power up in the Super Mario Brothers movie. So,
I mean,
True.
theoretically, I guess.
no, he did. He used the Fire Flower.
No,
Oh, that's
in
right,
my
he
mind,
did.
I'm sorry, I was talking to myself. Jacob, you're up.
All right, so I did mention before I wanted to go a little beyond because you had the idea of henshin, you can transform into something. What if it's more psychological? What if it's psychological? You transform into something else, be like more menacing or evil, and I be like again like for me, and I don't see myself on the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was waiting.
Thank you.
And the part of Drew will be voiced by Jacob.
But where I'm going is more the psychological, like where it be like is for me and my wife. We both love true crime. Love true crime is one of the things we actually got, like had a connection with. Be like, oh, you like true crime? I like true crime too. She likes it a little more. She goes to sleep listening to it. That's scary, people.
That's because women who are into true crime are a little scary.
Yeah. So I kept thinking it was like what was a historical serial killer who was one way.
Interesting.
Yeah. I thought Ted Bundy.
Whoa! Oh,
yeah.
I don't
Ted
think
Bundy,
I would. I don't think I would call him a hero, but
no, he's
okay.
not. But it was the psychological change. The guy who literally started killing women because they reminded him of a girlfriend who rejected him, and so he killed about 20 women.
wow!
Just because of that, and the fact that Ted Bundy was such a like narcissistic manipulator. The guy could literally walk into a room, befriend everybody, have no idea the guy was a serial killer, and be like, if you were one of his victims, you were lucky enough to be alive. And so be like, I thought I was my first thought was like, wow, because that is a transformation, because you do kind of that mental change. Be like you're a chameleon among other people you're around. But once you be like, and again, be like, I'm not promoting serial killers at all.
I'm like,
Jacob said, I'm done with the Rushmore Show killing people. I'm about to kill the Rushmore.
Oh my gosh! But it was
no, it's I like
heroes. We just went to serial killers. This ranks up with, is Mulan a war movie?
Wait a minute, it is a war movie.
Mulan is a war movie, and war happens.
I was wondering who was talking. Geez, podcast canceled. I'm kidding. Oh my god.
Hey, Jacob, who's your favorite henshin hero? Ted Bundy. What?
Well, in all fairness, it is a binge.
I thought it was an honorable mention.
Gosh,
I was like, wow.
what just happened? What just happened?
Jacob, I feel like I have learned something about you tonight, and I don't know if I like it.
Talk about it.
I'm going to tell you right now. If someone else had Ted Bundy as a Benjamin for a henshin hero, y'all need help. Y'all need Jesus and a lot of Jesus.
Wait a minute, I'm going it the wrong direction. Sorry.
My chest is hurting.
No, but it was one of those like honorable mentions. Like, okay, that sounds like a great idea because it throws everybody for a curve.
I've been sitting here like, I'm not gonna bust out laughing. I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah, you know what?
That kind of Rex. That's why I did it.
Hey,
Oh my gosh,
you know what?
Hey,
A little.
it's one of those moments we're going to talk about forever.
You know what? Something from my show is going to creep in tonight. I hope it comes through.
Grandmaster activated.
Oh gosh.
All right.
Which is henshin related because what?
I'm going to jump in and I'm going with, man, I'm going with Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask.
That is a very interesting pick. Actually.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
You're
Stanley
welcome.
Ipkiss, The Mask. I love that movie. I love the comic. Fun stuff.
I thought
You're up.
this one-
Back-to-back picks.
I'm glad I could get this one because I thought of anyone on this show that would have taken this one from me, I thought it would be you. And my first Benjamin is going to be Freakazoid.
Freakazoid is
that
another
is
good
a good
choice.
You are knocking that off
I
my
have the
list.
list just a little further down.
I loved Freakazoid. Like I love
Yeah,
that.
he
show.
counts. He counts. He's
counts.
got
He
a
does.
transformation phrase and
He's got the
everything.
phrase, he's got it. I mean, he's literally pretty much poster child for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go Freakazoid.
Embedded on TV.
And because I can pick Supersonic, I'm gonna go with Goku for my next one. Goku.
Nice.
Super Saiyan Goku. That's where I'm gonna go.
Goku did not make anywhere on my list because Goku actually has doomed the universe and the multiple universes so many times I can't consider him a hero anymore.
And Ted
I
Bundy.
mean, he's just the face of it. I
Be
just
careful
put the
saying
face.
that around my co-hosts on HPV.
I mean-
they are big DBZ
All right.
fans.
So look, my
Hey, I
next
didn't say there wasn't a DBZ thing on my list, so
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
so
just not Goku.
this one really came to light a couple years ago as one of my favorites when the TV show came out. Borderline not Henshin, but does have a transformation, and I love it. I'm going with Moon Knight.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
You know, I think Moon Knight can qualify
Yeah.
I'm going with Moon Knight.
because
That was a pretty cool
it's
show.
like
That was a
it's
pretty
like
cool show.
it's well like Ted Bundy. It's a psychological transformation because he has multiple personalities that he has to
No,
cycle through.
You could say he's the original.
My last
Sailor
pick is
Moon.
the best pick, Andy, and I thought it was going to shock the internet, but it's not. It's nothing now. It's nothing.
Congratulations, I think
all
you
good.
win,
You
Jacob.
can't
Yes.
top Ted Bundy, the Henshin hero.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
All I'm saying is,
I got worse ones. Come on.
Oh yeah, wait.
All
for
right,
it.
well,
Okay,
you're up.
Jacob,
What?
What's next, Jacob?
Yeah.
We got Jack the
How can you
Ripper.
break the internet worse than you already have?
Ted
Come on.
Bundy
Come on.
can Moon Knight
I can't breathe.
Hang on, Jacob can't breathe.
My
Oh,
goodness.
it's so good. It's so good.
And by the way, Moon Knight's underrated. I love it.
Jacob, you know
wish
what
you
I
got
was
a second
expecting?
season.
You know what I was expecting? I would have accepted the Wolfman. That's what I was expecting from you.
Hey,
Okay?
don't give him any ideas. He still has a couple choices.
Yeah, come on.
But he needs to give one now.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
I was going to say PTK, but I'm not going to go there.
Andy, I just saw this. I just saw this. That's even funnier. That's even funnier.
Oh, Jiminy Crickets on a pogo
No,
stick.
fucking-
I need
I
a serial killer themed Power Ranger team now. Ted
Oh.
Bundy,
All right, Jacob.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Let's get back on track. Jacob.
All right. In all seriousness, this is not another serial killer, I promise. So the next one, I found this recently. Okay, this was fun. I'm a huge fan of Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, if you can't tell.
No kidding.
No, but apparently in the new, I think it's like, what do you call it? What is it called? Lycara card game that recently came out from Disney.
Lorcana.
Lorcana. Thank you. I'm pretty surprised. Surprise. But apparently, Stitch has a kind of a heroic mode. Be like it's Stitch little rocket mode where he literally turns into transforms into a little super powered hero. And I was like, okay, I'll throw that in there. I didn't know that before, and it was okay. That's cool.
I need a picture of this now. What?
I will send it to you.
I mean, like, bring it up on the screen so you can share.
We
It's
went
just
from
like-
Ted Bundy to Stitch as a can we pause on that for a moment?
Andy,
hell on
Andy,
with
I'd
Ted
like to
Bundy?
point out this is what I deal with every week.
You're welcome.
Wait, you know
I
what?
need to see little Rocket Stitch now.
You know what? You know what's the funny part? So, Jacob, you've been on the show long enough. You know that kind of like this. You can't pick what other people are picking.
Yeah.
I love how you felt. Ted Bundy needs to come out the gate because nobody might take him.
Somebody's
Oh
taking
my gosh, someone's going to take Ted Bundy as a backup henshin hero.
All right. Hey,
This live stream is so getting demonetized right now.
Oh, we
I mean, you've talked
We
about
thought
Ted
we were going to
Bundy
be
a little
zooming
too
through
much.
this, and
Yeah, this kind of
hey,
broke.
Drew, you're up.
Yeah, go, Drew.
Hey, by the way, Nathan, you got back-to-back picks coming up.
so starting in Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora technically counts too.
What?
Because he can actually transform into different forms, including a Heartless form. So I'm counting that.
I'm counting it too. All right, Nathan, you're up. 2. That's a good pick. That's on brand.
Yes.
Of course it is.
Well,
Nathan.
yeah, I am going to have a little callback to a comment we had earlier tonight. Going to the world of video games. Beautiful Joe, he counts.
Beautiful Joe.
Henshin
Beautiful
Go-Go,
Joe,
baby.
I've got the picture. In case nobody knows who Beautiful Joe looks like, I will admit he's semi-obscure. But
Yeah,
Beautiful
I thought
Joe,
Andy was gonna pick
He's just a
Beautiful Joe.
combination of Kamen Rider and other superheroes.
he's a combination, mostly Kamen Rider with a bit of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's
good pick.
basically
Yeah,
it.
so Edwin's talking about Venom and Shazam, but will those forms make it in Kingdom Hearts 4
yeah.
if it comes out?
Whenever that comes out.
Whenever it
Yeah.
comes out.
All right,
And
so
then,
you get another one. I thought Beautiful Joe was going to Andy. Nathan, go.
My next one, I hope, I'm going with this one's kind of obscure. Got the picture up. Super Inframan.
I knew you were bringing that.
I
that
had
fever
to.
dream
I
up.
had to. I have done 2 podcast episodes on this movie and on this guy. One for Henshin Men, and then another one for the Monster Island Film Vault. If you want to see an absolutely bonkers, insane Henshin hero movie, watch Super Inframan. It is the closest you will ever come to actually using real drugs. This movie is absolutely nuts. It was made by the Shaw brothers in Hong Kong with some Japanese crew members. So it's basically Power Rangers if filtered through cracked out 70s martial arts movies. And it is every bit as cool as that sounds. It is unlike anything you will ever see. This is a movie where our hero enters the bad guy lair, not simply by walking in or even running in. No, he front flips in like he's taking a step. Just constant forward cartwheels until he gets to the actual lair.
My problem is a lot of these ones just look like the generic toys you would get at like Dollar General. You know, like
You have a point.
you know what I mean? You've gotten those.
And they
Turbo
don't
Man
even
just-
move. They're just stuck like
Turbo
this.
Man.
Yeah.
Turbo Man, you want to get the Turbo Man doll? Yeah.
Drew,
Turbo Man.
you're up.
Well,
Turbo
mine
Man.
won't look like the generic Power Ranger toy out there because he can actually transform into many different forms. Is by eating them. It is Kirby.
Very good
Wow.
pick. Very good pick. I was
Very
holding on to
nice.
Kirby.
Very,
pick.
very nice.
Holding on to Kirby.
I mean, he can
Dang.
even be Sora. He can be Cloud Strife. He can be Sephiroth.
Dum, dum, dum,
So there you
dum,
go.
dum.
A good pick. Really good pick. I was holding on. I thought it would slip to me, but that's a good one.
Your turn.
All right,
Ow.
Jacob.
All right, Jacob.
What's your next serial killer on your list?
Well, I was going to go Green River Killer, but we're not going to go there.
The Zodiac Killer.
Oh, good night. Yeah, that's an
Fly
interesting
me
story.
to the moon.
Who was the one? There's one who definitely doesn't qualify because he didn't actually. Who was it? It was the guy who was like a cult leader. He just talked people into killing people.
Oh, Marilyn Manson.
No, not Marilyn Manson. No, this guy went to jail, but they couldn't actually charge him with murder.
Oh,
charges.
yeah.
Charles Manson.
Charles
not Marilyn
Manson.
Charles
that's it.
Manson. I'm sorry. I was
Yeah,
thinking
there's
the
a difference.
Yes, I'm aware. I said
Very
the wrong
good
word.
Manson.
Yeah, Charles Manson.
It's
Charles
a
Manson does not qualify.
No,
Marilyn
of course
Manson
not.
could qualify as a Henshin hero.
Marilyn Manson has transformed quite a bit. So, but
A
anyway,
little bit. Just a
Jacob,
little bit.
I
Be
think
like, oh,
Marilyn.
be
I
like-
think Marilyn Manson is the human equivalent of the ship of Theseus. I don't think any of those parts are original anymore.
yeah,
probably not. Probably not. It was
All
like,
right, Jacob. Go.
okay. The dog is focused now for some reason. For a change. So the what going into the world of Transformers. I know some of you guys know this by Beast Wars. I love Beast Wars. I mean, like I saw it. I was on a
I was like, which one are you going with?
I watched with growing up.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I saw it one day on a Saturday morning. I was like, wow, it's kind of cool.
Which Beast Wars characters are you going with?
I am going with.
I bet it's Rat Trap.
No, it's Transmetal to Transmetal 3 Cheetor.
Cheetor. Okay.
Yeah, so he'd be like Cheetor gets himself sucked into one of the machines that this version of Megatron is trying to recreate the Transmetal 2, and he gets sucked into it and literally morphs him into a hideous version of himself. That be like it's absolutely the episode itself is finely done. It's just like this is a really cool transformation, and also he can transform into another version of himself. So it's transformation, and he's a robot. Cool.
I mean, technically, isn't the Transformers like? Isn't that what they do? They transform into someone else, and they can
Pretty much.
Now, if you want to go like.
I mean, we know Optimus Prime as being a 18-wheeler, but he's not.
Yeah, I do have an illustration in case anyone wants to know Transmetals to Cheetor.
Yeah,
it's not a big picture, but
be like, or you can go Transformers or Modded Megatron, where he turns into at least 6 forms.
Yeah, so there you go.
You got any more of them pixels?
Yeah, I wish I had more of the pixels.
All right, my turn. You guys are all picking video games. I'm going more retro. I had Kirby on the list. I had Mario on the list. Did not have Sonic. I should have figured that. But the first one that came to mind, I did have Beautiful Joe too, was Altered Beast.
Altered Beast. I joked about that earlier. I was like, I'm waiting for Altered Beast.
Altered Beast. That's going to be my next pick. But not better than my next pick, as long as Andy doesn't choose it. As long as Andy doesn't choose it on the wraparound, I've got a fun pick coming.
I got a fun one too. I'm gonna pick one that I tried to pick earlier, and it's a Benjamin. But at this point, if Ted Bundy counts, everything counts. We're gonna pick.
You're welcome.
Can we make Jacob a T-shirt that says Ted Bundy is a henshin hero?
Let me just shout out Edwin and Isaac for still hanging around here.
Yeah, thank you. Guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I'm gonna go video game, retro video game here. I'm gonna go Link from Majora's Mask.
Actually, yes,
that's fair.
That's fair. So,
that is
I'm gonna
fair.
do that one, and then let's just have a little fun with this. We're believers.
Don't do too much fun and take it. We're
believers here, so we're gonna go with one of the cringiest superheroes. I'm going Bible.
What you did? That's not your pick.
What?
Wait, you said you're. Oh no, you get back.
I get back to back. I'm going Bible Man. Bible Man.
No,
because when
no.
Hey, all right.
No,
so
that is so cringy. That is so cringy. That is so cringy. It is second only to Ted Bundy as a bad pick.
No.
I need to see Bible Man versus Ted Bundy.
All right.
Bible Man is not Ted Bundy's type.
So
it doesn't matter. The Bible Man would go after Ted Bundy because he's a superhero. You know what? Jacob, there's an art project for you.
Oh no!
Ted Bundy versus Bible Man. I need
this
this
do all
tomorrow.
things through Christ. He discovers it.
Hold on. So when Jacob mentioned that he had a real life person, I couldn't think. Serial killer didn't cross my mind. I'm like, well, maybe he's thinking. I don't know, because the guy that I have is a real life person. He's not a serial killer.
Please tell me it's not Ted Bundy.
But I'm going with none other than Sugar Shane Helms, the Hurricane, who is a wrestler in WWE.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I like Mr. Gregory Helms, and I liked him when he was the Hurricane. I you know what? I'm cool with this.
I liked him when he tag teamed with Kane.
Dude, I love it.
I thought the Hurricane deserved a little more respect than he got.
Yeah. I was like, there's got to be a wrestler that is doing this. And obviously he puts the outfit on, but he acts before that he's not and after that he does. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go with it. Sugar Shane Hams. I
all of
saved it
these
to the
people
end.
are fake other than Ted Bundy. I mean, every one of those are fake. If you think about it.
I will take the Hurricane over Ted Bundy as a Henshin hero right now.
Jacob, your last pick.
Oh gosh,
let's have fun.
Let's I would go into one that I recently learned about was the Phantom Killer from Texarkana, Arkansas. Actual killer who never got caught.
Does Jacob know?
No, but it's not what I'm talking about. I was just running into the
okay, guys.
Okay,
you need
all
to bring,
serious.
need to bring Jacob back for a Rushmore of serial killers. That's
I would do that.
I'll be honestly, I think I could get my wife on that one because she would love it. It's oh my gosh, yes. Because we would geek out about that. That was
and we all know his George is going to be Mr. Bundy. I
like Al Bundy.
Bundy.
Maybe on my channel here in a few weeks with Colin from Canada and Jason Nupp, Retro TV.
Anyway,
my final selection will be so it's part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. So they at the very end of the line, they started doing these. What do they call it? Give me a second. They was part of the Metal Mutants line, and so in Japan they made their own little OVA of it, which they called mutated turtles. What was it? Give me a second.
It's like Superman something.
Yeah, Superman Legend. Where
Superman Legend. You can watch this on
stones
YouTube.
And transform into a Henshin-like character, and be like, if they combine their powers, it's like they turn into a super turtle. Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I watched some of it. It was like, oh my gosh, they actually went there.
I'm detecting too much Captain Planet in that.
Guys, it was the 90s, the 96.
Guys, put that on your schedule for next year. Have me on.
Wait, what was the name of this one? What was the name of this one?
Mutated Turtles. Hold on.
Superman Legend.
It's you can find it on YouTube.
It's fan subbed on YouTube. It is one of the weirdest.
It is so freaking weird.
It is like the most anime Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding. Mm-hmm. It is insane.
Drew, Nathan, take us home. Drew, what's the next one?
You can't have a list of transforming heroes without mentioning the granddaddy of all transforming martial arts shows. And I did say that Goku was not on my list because I don't consider him a hero. But Piccolo,
worst dad ever.
Piccolo, when he goes orange in Superhero, is pretty dang awesome. So I'm going with Orange Piccolo.
Yeah, Gohan's real dad.
Exactly.
Womp womp womp.
He's a better dad than Goku ever was.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Go Nathan.
All right,
they're all better.
So you're choosing Ted Bundy, right?
Yes, Ted Bundy. You took my Benjamin. No, this pick is completely self-serving. Only one person in this call is going to know who this character is. You are definitely going to need the illustration for this. But we're going to end all my picks for this episode with some shameless self-promotion. Crystal Lady Jessica, just put the picture.
Yeah, I do know this one.
Just put the picture up. This is a Henshin hero of my own creation. This is a character on the Monster Island Film Vault because there's audio drama.
It's a female version of Nate.
Yeah, it's a long story. Basically, teleporter accident, and it made a magical girl. And to make it even funnier, the joke on the show is that she is Nate's pseudo sister. So it's the podcast version of me. And I got my real life sister to voice the character on the show, my sister Sarah. And I have such fun writing this character. She has fought multiple supervillains and defeated them. She is very Sailor Moon inspired, and she is crystal and moth themed. And she even has a moth sidekick named Nemo who helps her out fighting villains.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's
ending.
cool. That's cool.
And this artwork, by the way, was drawn by Rebecca Hudgens, who also did the logos for my current logo art for Henshin Power V3 and the Monster Island Film Vault. Please commission her.
So
she is
good.
wonderful.
So good.
Nice.
All right. Well, that is a good way to end it. This is actually a fire pick. It definitely is a fire pick. Really cool. Isaac, thanks for hanging all this time with us. So what do we have coming up? Next week, we have Jay Funktastic and Derek Diamond. They are from the Nerd Cave, and we are doing sleepover games. So video games that you'd play over at a sleepover at your friend's house. And I've got a ton because Kevin was the sleepover place to go to. And I'll be picking games from his house. I see you guys dropping some things in the chat. If you have a channel, drop it in the chat. And while we're talking about channels, dropping in the chat, Drew and Jacob, thanks for being here once again. Tell everybody about cartoons and make it a little lighter than the serial killers things. And,
well, if we're making it lighter than serial killers, maybe I should be the one to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Bring back the fans.
By all means.
The Cel Cast is a podcast for me and my co-host Jacob. Sorry, wrong way. My co-host Jacob review animated movies and television shows, except the last episode that you'll see on our feed actually was Superman 2025 because we do live action stuff every once in a while for the fun of it. We are coming up on Bad Movie Month, which one of our choices does have Walter Jones in it.
Really?
And
so
Mark
are
Hamill.
you gonna have me or Andy on for it?
I don't know who would be better to torture with that, actually.
Oh, my.
If either one of y'all wants it, we can do it.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's really bad, trust me. It's a Christmas movie that we're doing in September.
Oh.
But
maybe I should let Andy have it because I have a torturous Patreon pick coming up.
You do.
You do.
Actually.
Thanks, Nate.
But yeah, but the next movie we're doing tomorrow night.
Yes.
On our YouTube channel, which is Cel Cast, or if you want to hang out on our Twitch, that's the Cel Cast Gaming. We're going to be reviewing the Garfield movie, along with some episodes of Batman the Animated Series. So join us for that. And because no one said it yet, and Nate's probably the only person who's going to get it, tomorrow is Friday in California.
Shoot!
Yeah, that. Also, I just put in the chat for a link to our Meanwhile at Castle Grayskull audio clip that you probably should check out at some point. Just for the funs of it.
You should.
The funsies.
We will check out that for funsies for sure. Everybody check all that stuff out. And now, Nathan. Well, first off, Jacob.
Yes.
Do you want to share about what you're doing aside from Cel Cast?
Right now, I am doing open commissions for art. If you want to look more at my art, you can look at my Facebook and my Instagram, which is LycanArtist. And I'm currently working on projects for here and there and certain other, podcasters, what have you. So other than that, I'm trying to get a YouTube channel off the ground where I'm starting to, drawing in the whole bit. It's kind of hard when you don't have an actual computer. You have a tablet, but you make it work. But I'm working on some stuff. I'm working on this, and so yeah, just hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, and if you want art done, just let me know. We can get something started.
Yeah. So
also on Tuesday nights, I'm playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, so join me for that on the Cel Cast.
Bonanza. Hey, so actually, Andy and I were kind of talking about you with art a couple days ago, Jacob. Both of us are doing some books. He has an illustrator doing some of his stuff, and he brought up the idea that we have some art folks in our crew. And we probably need to get some art done for at least the Devo books and all the other things. And I was like, yeah, that's probably pretty cool. I might reach out to Jacob, PaulJPowers.com, and all the other guys that just love to draw and see what we can come up with. But everybody go check out his stuff. LycanArtist is really awesome. Nathan, tell everybody about your stuff.
All right. So as I mentioned, I've got those 2 podcasts that I promoted at the beginning. So check out Henshin Power V3 and the Monster Island Film Vault. The next thing that we have coming up for Henshin Power V3, we will be releasing our episodes covering Kamen Rider 5s, which is an interesting little Kamen Rider show that took me a little bit to get into, but we got some great discussions out of it. And then the next episode I have coming up for the Monster Island Film Vault will be on the 1961 British kaiju film Gorgo, which will have my friend Bex and her husband Encyclo from Redeemed Otaku. I gave her a shout out when I threw in Sailor Moon for her. And I'm only a few episodes away from starting season 5 of the podcast, when the Film Vault will officially join the Culture Box Network, and Henshin Power V3 will join during its 2nd season, which is hopefully coming up soon. But I will be doing a new theme for the Film Vault called the Ultra Journey. So I will be looking at Ultraman movies. Ultraman's primarily a television franchise, but there's some cool movies that often tie in with the shows that I will be covering for that. Also, check out my author website, nathanjsmarchand.com, where you can keep up with all the stuff I have going on with that. I will hopefully have a new short story collection out called by the end of the year, I'm saying, called The Worlds of Nathan Marchand Volume 2, Tales of the Lost and Lonely. But you can see me, as well as some other really cool people, speaking of devotional books, in Finding God in Anime Volume 3. I have a couple of entries in there. One is on Science Ninja Team Gotchaman, so Henshin Heroes, and Gamera Rebirth, so we get Kaiju. And those are both animes. And I'm also going to be in, both of these books are from Wild Hunt Press. I will also be in Attack of the Kaiju Volume 3, where you can read a kaiju short story I have called Project Artemis. And I just submitted an essay for a sister anthology from Wild Hunt Press called Reign of the Titans, Volume 1, where I wrote about the original Marvel Godzilla comics. And speaking of podcasts, go check out the Scyther Podcast Network of podcasts. They make fan-produced superhero audio dramas based on things like Avengers, X-Men, Power Rangers, and you can hear me in all of those shows playing the likes of Rito Revolto in the show Rito Bandora on that podcast. I even produced my own origin episode for them. I did everything on it but play the other characters. Of all people, Deadpool on X-Men, the audio drama, although I've only appeared once as a post-credit gag. And I'm Johnny Star, baby, on the Avengers audio drama whenever they cross over with the Fantastic Four. There you go.
Nice. Awesome, man.
There we are. And we are at 3 hours and 16 minutes. Austin 316 says we are done with this podcast. And with that being said, thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, all 8 of you. Everybody, here's the thing. You will see some graphics come up. Hopefully by this weekend. I'm finishing my last project of my master's. Andy's got VBS. Trying to knock that out. And there's some other really cool things I need to be doing. I'm starting, my first day of school was today as a teacher. So there's a lot going on, but hopefully by this weekend, you will see the voting for Tuesday's show and Thursday's show. As well as I'm going to try and get the one from a couple weeks ago when Andy was not on the show. We've got a few to drop out. Go vote who had the best night tonight. If you choose Ted Bundy, we know who to be worried about. And who had the best night tonight? Who picked the best picks? Also, if you would bless us, hit the like button and the subscribe. Come back to the show tomorrow, get a rewatch, and leave who are your least favorite of the Henshin Heroes. My pick would be Ted Bundy.
That would be my pick as well.
What is your favorite actual Henshin hero? It doesn't have to be someone that we picked, and it'd be really cool to drop a little comment next week. Sleepover games. Hold on, really quick. We're already at 316, so now we're at 317, 18. I'm going to Andy. You have anything else you want to say before we go to bed? Because I'm about to share what we have coming up. Go and talk.
I'm having a good time.
Perfect.
What?
No more. I don't need you anymore. Hey, so we got sleepover games. We've got sleepover games. We've got blockbuster buys. We've got collectible grails. We've got Star Wars Sith, and we have retro TV dads to finish up the nostalgia. And we are moving into sports. We're already booked into February, ladies and gentlemen, which is video games. And we've already got a few even in March and April, but none of the topics are picked yet. If you want to be back on the show, you're welcome to be back on the show anytime. We love to have you. Edwin, thanks you for being here. Hopefully you're not a stranger after we depart away from Henshin. We have some fun stuff we are always talking about. And Andy, tell everybody good night.
All right. Well, hey, let's say goodnight like we always do. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four.
And nothing more.
Peace.